Yo, mic check, mic check. Y'all hear me? All right, I think we're good. Man, what a turn of events. Just in a matter of hours, which is kind of what we talked about yesterday, right? How everything that you work hard for, to save, to build, right? Whether it's a bloodline, whether it's opportunity, job opportunity, career defining moments, right? Bomac gets incarcerated for carrying a weapon in an airport, or that's where he got caught in the UK. Pretty shocking, honestly, because he's been there before. When Terence Crawford beat Ricky Burns, they traveled over to the UK. They fought Ricky Burns, and according to Terence Crawford, that was his toughest fight because it was the first time he ever became a champion. Now, it looks like Terence Crawford and Canelo, they've been bickering back and forth. Now, for the sake of this live, man, these are both great teams, both great camps, both great fighters. 1A, 1B. When you think about the best of their era, these two come to light. But one of the terms that's going to be used today, the term big fight. What does it mean to have a big fight? And I guess how I'm going to define what it means to have a big fight is a career-defining fight, not only financially, but also in terms of the legacy, right? Now, here's the thing. For instance, Tank Davis had a huge fight with Ryan Garcia, right? Did great pay-per-view numbers. Now, legacy wasn't on the line in the sense of championships or championship belts, though legacy was on the line in terms of two undefeated fighters and names and who's the young face of boxing. That's another legacy aspect. So we start defining these terms, what it means to have a big fight, right? Because Terence Crawford versus Julius Ndongo, that's a big-ass fight, right? That's Terence Crawford became undisputed, something that hasn't happened in 20 years. But if you ask Canelo, he's going to be like, who is Julius Ndongo? So is he really a big fight? Because he's not a big name like Errol, right? For instance, Canelo versus Erislandy Lara, that is a big-ass fight. That's a big fight. Didn't do that great in pay-per-view. There weren't multiple belts on the line. But the term big fight is very vague, right? It's actually a pretty lengthy definition to define it. So just for the sake of purpose to make this live more understandable, a big fight doesn't have to be just one, like a monetary fight or a big name. It's going to be big fight in the terms of the name, undefeated record, belts on the line, pay-per-view status on the line, and legacy-defining fights. So, for instance, Canelo versus Bivol, let me give you guys a little discrepancy here. Canelo versus Bivol wasn't a big fight because Bivol wasn't a big name, and he wasn't something that Canelo needed on his resume. For instance, when Canelo fought Kovalev, Canelo became a four-time divisional champion, right? He ended up knocking out Kovalev. That was a very significant big fight for Canelo. That didn't do much for Kovalev to have Canelo on his resume. It didn't really do much. But yet, had he been victorious. But conversely, Bivol beating Canelo is a big fight for Bivol, but it isn't a big fight for Canelo because Canelo doesn't gain anything from beating Bivol. In fact, nobody really knew Bivol. HBO executives, diehard fans, Russia knew Bivol, but they didn't really support him because up until that point, Bivol wasn't selling out shows. He wasn't talked about. He didn't have a lot of momentum, but he was beating everybody. Like Joe Smith, Sullivan Barrera, just to name a few, right? Demon Squad says, Ryan only brought fan base to the table. He was not a legacy fight. I agree. It's not a legacy fight, but it is still a big fight because while Ryan only brought a fan base, having fans is very important to be able to capture the moment. If you don't have a fan base like Bivol, right, like Julius Ndongo, whether you're established, whether you're undefeated, whether you're the guy at that division, whether you're a multi-divisional belt holder or, a unified champion, Without fans, they don't make you big. So it's like a two-way street. So that's why I'm going to define having a big fight is all those boxes. Not that you have to have all of them. As long as you check one, that's a big fight. Larry Liston says Canelo is speaking the truth. He is a pro boxer. He knows what he's looking at. Bud is a good fighter. He knows what he's looking at. Bud is a good fighter, but his resume can't be compared to Canelo's, in my opinion. I agree. Canelo's got like about 24 more fights than Bud Crawford, with a lot of legendary fighters. The resumes don't have to be compared, but in terms of what they've done in respect to one another, right? You can equate them. So, for instance, while Canelo has the names of Cotto, Shane Mosley, Floyd Mayweather, Triple G, right, Kovalev, a lot of huge names that are essentially Hall of Famers, maybe Kovalev Hall of Famer, but Crawford doesn't have those big old popular, huge, legendary names that we just mentioned. But what he does have is his own history. See, Felix Diaz is a gold medalist. Yorukis Gamboa is another gold medalist. But a lot of people aren't going to give Terence Crawford the respect he needs for those two victories. And if you go look at those fights, those are incredible fights. But because they don't have that fan base, right, it wasn't popularized. But Felix Diaz is a great fighter. He had a really good short career at 140. Same thing with Yorukis Gamboa. But a lot of people wouldn't say those were huge fights. But in reality, that is a big-ass fight. Demon Squad says he was running scared from Devin Haney, and he was an interim champ and was mandatory to Devin Haney. He preferred to get knocked out by Tank. Hey, he preferred to get knocked down by Luke Campbell. But Luke Campbell is also a huge fight because he's a gold medalist. Now, he's not a great professional champion, right? I understand what you're saying. But again, if you're going to get knocked out by Tank, at least secure the bag for $40 million. He could get knocked out by Devin Haney, gets paid $10 million. So again, when we define this term, what it means to have a big fight, it's all those intangibles. It's the money aspect. It's the popularity aspect of it. It's the legacy. It's the belts on the line. It's all that stuff. It can't just be one. What's pound for me is smaller fighters fighting opposition who is much bigger. Usyk beating AJ twice, being that he's much smaller, is pound for pound. Canelo going up to light heavyweight and fighting bigger fighters is pound for pound. I agree. Who has Bud beat who is much bigger than him? Very valid point. Demon Squad says he was a prospect at best. He's talking about Ryan Garcia. Larry goes, if Canelo beats Jermell Charlo, he beat a fighter who is on many people's pound for pound list. Some even have him as a top 5. So that puts Canelo at pound for pound number 1 as I see it if he wins. Yeah, I agree. Look, man, I'm not trying to compare who's pound for pound 1 or who's pound for pound 1A or 1B. I don't really care about that because, hell, they deserve to both be up there. You know, as long as they're both being up there, I'm comfortable with that. I'm fine with that. Whether you want to put Bud above Canelo, go ahead. If you want to put Canelo above Bud, go ahead. One thing that I'm going to say is, in every single fight that Bud Crawford has had, there is no shadow of doubt that he lost. He's never got outlanded. And he's never been beat. He's never in a close fight. Bud has never been in a close fight. Whereas Canelo, maybe a handful of fights. He got outlanded by Miguel Cotto. That was a close fight. Canelo won, but Cotto landed more total punches at the end of the fight. He landed more jabs that beat Canelo's power punches, right? Gennady Golovkin, 1 and 2. Those were close fights. What I'm trying to say is when it comes down to dominating a fighter or dominating their whole career, hell, Floyd Mayweather had close fights. Terence Crawford has never had a close fight. He's had close moments. Mean Machine dropped him. Yorukis Gamboa rocked him, right? But aside from that, 2 moments in 40 fights, they've never been close, right? So I would agree that pound for pound, the smaller fighter moving up to light heavyweights, kind of like Canelo in stature, is pound for pound. I agree completely. That's probably my best metric to categorize pound for pound because, to your point, who has Bud Crawford beat that's much these fighters are much bigger than him. No one. I mean, Crawford has really good arm length, intangibles, and height. Sure, Errol Spence is taller, like 5'10" and a half, but Crawford's like 5'8" and a half, 5'9". So I get to your point. You can also include, you know, when you mean by who's bigger than him, do you mean height or do you mean weight, right? Because you can also add like Victor Postal. A lot of these fighters were somewhat taller than Crawford. But again, that term big fight, big fighter, it's a very vague. It's not a very simplistic term because everybody can define a big fight. Like some people will say Tank having Ryan on his resume, that was a big ass fight, right? Larry Listen says Canelo beating Erislandy Lara, Kovalev, Triple G 2 times, Cotto, Saunders, Jacob, Smith is for me his best wins. And I can't look at Crawford's resume and pick names with that same value. We gonna get on to this, man. I'm just waiting for the guys to hop on in the panel and we'll see. Put Canelo against Crawford's opponents and Canelo will look unstoppable. Even would become 4-time undisputed with that level of opposition. I will say this. Canelo fought Miguel Vasquez at 140. He had to fight him twice. This was early in his career. And Miguel Vasquez is very crafty, doesn't get hit a lot. He takes out the air out of fights, right? He diffuses a lot of the situations and combats. If Canelo was at 140, he would have a hard time with Victor Postal. Victor Postal with that Russian elongated arm fights a lot like Bivol, a lot of in and out. Coupled with the height and the straight punches, Canelo would struggle. He would struggle with Victor Postal, especially Canelo at that age. Remember, Canelo was getting tagged by Josecito Lopez, who moved up in weight after he broke the jaw of Victor Ortiz. So you have to understand, one of the things about Canelo is that Canelo weight, that's a real thing. Like, he fights a lot of fighters, a lot of small fighters, and made them move all up in weight all the time. Ponchito Gomez, Josecito Lopez, because he wanted to fight Victor Ortiz. I think Shane Mosley, they fought at 154. And Mosley is not a 154-pounder. I think he started like at 130, right? Or even 135. So there was a whole lot of fighters, Canelo making move up or putting a lot of restrictions, catch weights, kind of like Tank Davis. In fact, Tank and Ryan have very similar, Tank and Canelo have very similar careers in terms of fluctuating and capping fighters. He did it with not Liam Smith. He did it with Amir Khan. He did it with Chavez Jr. Again, you can never say that against Bud Crawford. I completely agree, Demon Squad. Crawford just simply hasn't challenged himself as much. If Crawford had beat Virgil, Boots, and Stanionis, he would be king of welterweight. Canelo beat everybody on 168, which is why he's more of a real undisputed to me. Now, these are really good points. All right, so I'm going to go like this. If Crawford had beat Virgil, Boots, and Stanionis, he would be king of the welterweight division. So you're not going to give Crawford credit for beating Jeff Horn, right? Because Jeff Horn, kind of when Bud beat Victor Postal came out of knocking out Lucas Matisse, shutting out his eye, and he made him take a knee, and he never got up. So when Bud Crawford fought Victor Postal, Victor had a lot of momentum. Same thing with Jeff Horn. He sold out the Australia Stadium. Whether it was a close fight, Pacquiao was not ever supposed to be in a close fight with Jeff Horn. He's supposed to beat that math teacher. Hell, even knock him out. He was bloodied, and sure, there was wrestling moves and headbutts and all these things, but it was not even supposed to be close. It was supposed to be how Bud dominated Jeff Horn. That's what Pacquiao was supposed to do to Jeff. So, again, you got to give him credit for that. And also Mean Machine. Mean Machine dropped and hurt Virgil much harder than Mean Machine hurt Bud, right? And again, Crawford would have fought Virgil. Virgil just can't be healthy. He can't make 147, right? As for Boots, he's an up-and-comer, right? Boots ain't really have nobody on his resume. Now, I would love for Crawford to fight him, right? And Stanionis, that's another great fight. But here's another thing. When you're undisputed or you have all these belts, these guys that you mentioned, they have to fight one another. You see, you have to eliminate the competition So you can get that shot of the title and be the last man standing. Same thing with David Benavidez, like he's doing. I'm gonna fight Caleb Plant. Let me fight Demetrius Andrade. Let me fight David Morrell. So after I beat all these guys, Canelo has to fight me because those other dudes, he be fighting my leftovers. That's what you're supposed to do. So I'm gonna give credit to Bud Crawford for not necessarily not fighting those guys, but he fought a lot of undefeated fighters on his way up. At 147, like Jeff Horn, like Mean Machine. Canelo was learning on the job. Crawford had amateur career. Also, Canelo turned pro at 15. Pac came up from flyweight, though, and I still thought Pac beat Horn. You got a point with Mean Machine and Postal, though. Those are probably his best wins. Yeah, I think Mean Machine, Postal, Felix Diaz, and Jeff Horn and Yuruki's Gamboa. A lot of people forget about that. Even Ray Beltran. See, a lot of people don't like Ray Beltran or give credit. Dude, Ray Beltran is a bad dude. Those are probably his best wins. Mean Machine hurt Virgil. He didn't drop him. He hurt him, and then Virgil threw a left hook, lost his balance, and it was due because of a punch. That should have been a knockdown. Here's my point. If Triple G fought like Spence against Canelo, that wouldn't be a pound-for-pound win in my book. If the elite, for some reason, don't fight like the elite, that diminishes value from that exact win. I'm going to get to that point. I'm going to put it up on the screen just so I can not forget. Should Lennox Lewis get credit for McCall, who for some reason mentally not being in the fight and just quitting? Question mark. Canelo also moved up from 140 and faced better opponents. All right, so here's the thing. Canelo faced popular opponents. Like Tank Davis faced Ryan Garcia. That's a popular opponent. But you see, even though, let's say, Devin Haney has faced legacy-defining fighters like Jorge Linares, like Jojo Diaz, like George Kambosos, like Lomachenko. You see what I'm saying? Just because those fighters, let's just say, like George Kambosos, aren't that popular in comparison to Ryan Garcia, I think George Kambosos would beat Ryan Garcia. But see, a lot of people are going to overlook that because how dominant Devin Haney looked against Kambosos. But you guys are going to forget how good Kambosos looked against Teofimo Lopez. The same Teofimo Lopez that beat Lomachenko, that also dominated Josh Taylor. Are we going to diminish that because, oh, Josh Taylor was dehydrated? He stayed too long at 140? No, Teofimo didn't look that good against Sandor Martin. So what I'm trying to say is this. We can't pick and choose, man. We can't pick and choose because what you guys don't think are great fights, I think they're great victories. So, for instance, let me go to the, you said right here. Here's my point. If Triple G fought like Spence against Canelo, that wouldn't be a pound-for-pound win in my book. All right, let me go to this. Again, nobody can do what Bud did on that night to Errol Spence. Because let me put it to you like this. Canelo had an opportunity to knock out Triple G in the third fight. And you know how Canelo looked? He looked absolutely terrible. He couldn't cut the ring off Triple G. In the third fight, Triple G did the exact same shit that Canelo did to him in the first fight. In the first fight, Canelo circled around and survived the round. Survived the 12th round. I think maybe 3 rounds they decided to engage a little bit, right? Triple G should have won that first fight. In the third fight, Triple G did what Canelo did. He started circling around, not engaging at all. And Canelo looked terrible. And in the last 4 rounds, when Triple G wanted to turn it up, he was beating the shit out of Canelo. Canelo could not dominate. Not in the first one, he got beat. And the second one, I can say it was a draw or Canelo winning 7-5. And in the third fight, if you're going to say that it was a draw, the third fight should have been a draw because Canelo didn't look good. Go look at that fight. He didn't even add any dominating punches on Triple G. Let me go back. Let me see. Canelo also faced better fighters at 140, better opponents. I don't think so. Hell no. No, Canelo did not face anybody near Victor Postol, Felix Diaz at 140 at all. I also look at other factors in terms of determining pound for pound. Did any of them have fishy wins? Fishy wins. You got to define that. A win like Bud's win against Avanesian should be questioned since both gloves mysteriously busted out. Okay, so now again, we just nitpicking certain. Okay, all right. Crawford had a chance to fight PBC fighter, but decided to re-sign with Top Rank, knowing that the fights were at PBC. Crawford had a chance to fight PBC fighters, but decided to re-sign with Top Rank, knowing that the fights were at PBC. I mean, when you're guaranteed 4 to 6 million, I think you would do the same thing as well. Canelo has been dehydrating opponents, but so has Bud and most A-side fighters. So I don't really compare that. I don't think Bud has ever dehydrated opponents, ever. In fact, when Bud told Errol Spence, and they met back in 2018 when Errol Spence had the red jumpsuit, Errol told him, look, when we fight, people are going to say that you was too small, that you stayed at the weight class, that you were dehydrated. Look, you said something earlier, Mr. Liston. You said, where did he go? You said something amongst the lines of when he dominated somebody. Okay, if the elite for some reason don't fight like the elite, that diminishes the value from that exact win. I disagree with that. And here's the reason why. Again, only certain fighters are able to exploit in the manner of which they did. For instance, Naoya Inoue versus Stephen Fulton, right? Naoya Inoue, nobody could dominate Fulton like the way Naoya Inoue did, because they don't have his speed, his boxing IQ, his punch selection, fortitude, and punching power, right? Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Ugas, Kell Brook, they couldn't do what Bud did to Errol at all. Here's the thing. Had Errol fought Bud Crawford earlier, Bud Crawford would still knock him out. It would be much closer. But if you go look at every single one of those fights, and we talked about this in the past, Errol has always been losing in those championship bouts. Kell Brook, had he not quit, he was probably going to get the victory in Sheffield, even with the job, even when he took a knee. All you had to do was survive the last 11th and 12th round. He was beating Spence. Spence dogged him out. Sean Porter, bro, if you don't get knocked down on that 12th round, you're probably beating Errol, or it's a majority draw. Ugas, bro, if you just throw a blitz on a flurry, you're going to break Errol Spence's teeth, and that shit's going to be flying. Denture over here. Right canine tooth over here. They're all going to fly, but he decided to, like, let him rest and get his mouthpiece back in. But you see, Bud didn't. Bud punished him. You have to understand, Errol is the same guy that took Mikey Garcia 12 rounds. He went 12 rounds with Danny Garcia. Do you know what Bud Crawford would do to Mikey Garcia? He would knock his ass out. Look how terrible Mikey looked against Sandor Martin. Imagine someone as slick and hurtful had Mikey fought Bud Crawford. That's why Mikey never fought Bud Crawford. That's why Danny Garcia and his father calling Bud Crawford nappy-headed and all this shit. That's why they never fight him. Errol Spence having all this size advantage, throwing 1,000 punches in both fights, couldn't knock both those dudes out. Again, when Bud Crawford fights, he completely dominates his fighters. There's no need for a rematch. When Canelo fights, he needs to rematch Erislandy Lara. Not now, but back then he did. He rematched Triple G twice, 3 total fights. The Miguel Cotto fight was close. Hell, the Danny Jacobs fight was close. The Caleb Plant fight was close until it wasn't, right? The Bivol, again, so he said hand injury. All right, let me go back to these comments because you guys are going crazy right now. All right, let me see. Canelo also came from undisputed run and fought Bivol at a higher weight. No one told him to do that. I mean, so what? Like, you lost. You took a risk fighting an obscure, unknown fighter, and you got your ass beat. Like, if you really want to be honest, Bivol won that fight 12-0. He outlanded Canelo in the whole from 1 to 12. I had a 9-3, and I put money on a draw, and Canelo couldn't even win 6 rounds. Triple G was not even throwing the first round because he knew he would get knocked the fuck out. I completely disagree. I knew that he was 40 years old. Canelo wanted the knockout, and he just, let Canelo blow his wad and then came out strong. I don't think so. I respect your opinion, but I disagree. I had Triple G versus Canelo 1 as a draw. Second fight, 7-5 Canelo. And third fight, 10-2 for Canelo. Maybe 9-3, and I'm not even Mexican. No, no. I mean, you had the same thing as the judges in the first fight. I didn't see that. I had what you have 9-3 or 10-2 in the third fight. That's what I had. Triple G beating Canelo in the first one. I did not see a draw at all. Look, if Felix Trinidad beat Oscar De La Hoya, and mind you, Oscar was winning that whole fight, and he decided to circle around like Keith Thurman did against Danny Garcia for the championship rounds. And if they gave that victory to Felix over Oscar, same applies for Triple G versus Nello. That shit wasn't even close. As for the second fight, 7-5, I mean 7-5, 6-6, what's really the difference? It's, I mean, we're talking close fights here. Look at Kell Brook against Bud. He was clearly dehydrated, in my opinion. Yeah, but that's not Bud's fault. You see, Kell Brook had always been manipulating his weight. He was a champion at 147, undefeated. Then he decides to fight Triple G for what? A cash grab? Gets his fucking eye socket broken. Then comes down like 8 months from now and he fights Errol Spence. Then kind of retires. Then moves up to 154. And then, in fact, Brook was the one that wanted the Bud Crawford fight. And Bud was like, all right, let's fight. You know what I mean? Bud ain't gonna duck the smoke. And so was Spence. Now, I agree that Spence's fought as well, but he was dehydrated. Now, I don't think he was dehydrated, man. I think the moment was too big and Bud Crawford beat his ass. If you go look at the first 2 rounds, especially in the first round, Spence looked all right. I mean, he won the first round, and that's essentially it. It's just what happened is, look. That dehydrated comment, when they fight at 154, you're going to see that Bud's going to beat him again. But about the same. Is Errol going to make his adjustments? Now he has 9 rounds to understand what happened and dissect, right? And draw up a tactical game plan to try to take away. But guess what? So there's not the element of surprise that Bud had going for him in terms of the power, in terms of the inside fighting and everything. But again, it doesn't matter. Bud beat Spence in every aspect with the jab, defense, catching and shooting, parrying, the wrestling, not the low blows, but the body shots, the tempo shots, the hits behind the head, combination punching. Spence is going to do better, but he's still going to get knocked out. And it ain't going to be because he dehydrated. Hell, they can fight at 200 pounds. Bud Crawford would beat his ass. Just Spence can't fuck with him. Spence saved him last for a particular reason, and that reason was Bud is the sea monster, man. Canelo didn't look great against Triple G, but he came of undisputed run and lost to a bigger fighter. He's only human. How would you expect Canelo to look against Triple G in the third fight? Also had a hand injury. Bro, Crawford is 36 years old. You think Crawford's in his prime? Hell no. But he's still good enough to beat the fuck out of Errol. You see what I'm saying? Like, he's 36 years old, man. But you guys don't think that he's having tough fights. Bro, he's having tough fights. Again, Victor Postol, Felix Diaz, Yurukis Gamboa, Mean Machine, Jeff Warren. Nobody can do what they do, only Bud. All right? How many fighters had fought Gamboa? Bro, Tank Davis couldn't even knock out Gamboa with a torn Achilles. They had to stop it in the 12. That just lets you know how dominant Bud was. And we know Bud Crawford, if you go watch the HBO 2 days when he's cutting all that weight, Bud Crawford was a dead man walking at 135. So all this talk about him being dehydrated, those same fighters back at 135, the Brady's Prescotts, the Ray Beltrons, the Ricky Burns, they had an opportunity to knock the block off Bud Crawford when he was a walking skeleton. They couldn't. Let me see. Canelo won the first 4 rounds against Bivol. Okay. Still lost the last 8. Are you giving Canelo credit if he fights Crawford and beats him? Absolutely, man. You got to give him credit. He's an undefeated, 2-time undisputed champion. You got to give him credit. Why are we not going to give him? Again, I'm not even too sure if Canelo can beat Crawford, but I will say this. It favors him that he's a bigger weight. But guess what? One of the things that the reason why Canelo has been able to dominate the fighters at 168, 2 things. He has the Tank Davis effect going for him, that he's shorter. Why is that important? Because it allows you to punch higher, and then it's easier to reset your hands back to your face, right? Go back on defense and also the speed factor. Canelo, being the smaller man, is faster than Callum Smith, not only in single punches, but combination speed, hand speed. Canelo's faster than Billy Joe Saunders. Now, and Caleb Plant. Now, he might not have the better feet, but he makes it up for his hand speed and his feints. So those are the two things that he's got going for him, that he's short, which means the taller fighters have to punch down. It means when you punch down, I punch up, boom, I got better leverage. Remember, the lower man always wins. At least that's what I was taught in football. Same applies in boxing. That's why they always tell you, man, when you take a punch, always stay low. That's what Robert Garcia was teaching Marcos Maidana. Let me go to the comments, man, because y'all like, dehydrated or not, I agree, Bud will beat Spence 10 out of 10 times. But then again, who did Spence beat? He never beat Virgil, Boots, or Stanionis either. So in my opinion, that's an overrated win. All right. Who's better, Spence or Boots? Spence. He's better than Boots. He's proven, right? Boots didn't fight Kell Brook. Boots hasn't fought Sean Porter. Boots didn't fight. Boots struggled with Karen. Okay? He was in a great fight, was his Roman Villa. Let me see. Stanionis. Bro, Stanionis hasn't fought in a really long time, right? Now, he did beat Butayev, and I like Butayev. He's trained by Joel Diaz. That was a great fight. I love watching that fight. I learned everything that I needed to know about Stanionis, that he's tough, that he's fast, he's strong. Look, I'm not even going to badmouth Stanionis. He's legit, bro. I like Stanionis a lot. And I like Cody Crawley. Let me see. Oh, shit, where was I at? Said he fought. I got to go back up. Stanionis. So in my opinion, that's an overrated win. But again, I'm trying to play devil's advocate here. Kell Brook had 2 broken eye sockets, and Kell Brook was definitely weight drained when he fought Crawford. I don't know, man. I never thought Kell Brook was ever that great of a fighter. What I mean by that is Kell Brook struggled with a guy named Carson Jones. And they had a rematch back in the when Kell Brook won the British title, right? And if you go look at that fight, Kell Brook was defined. But once he hooked up, and he's probably always been with Dominic Ingle, but once he was started to go on his run to become a champion, he gained a whole lot of weight. I'm not going to say that he was on some type of juice, but a lot of Dominic Ingle fighters, like Kid Galahad, Billy Joe Saunders, all these dudes popped dirty on that camp. That's all I got to say about that. So definitely weight drained or not, look, at the end of the day, I don't even think Kell Brook is that great of a fighter. But he was just really big at welterweight. And that's what allowed him to get, dominate the fights. But did Bud Crawford have hydration clauses for those fights? Because that plays a big part. Nah, I don't think so. Bud Crawford, he's a very arrogant guy. He wants to fight you at your best. He's never put catch weights on anybody that I know. He never put rehydration clauses. Man, he's not Tank Davis, man. This guy's a legacy fighter. Jeff Horn was a glorified bum. He robbed Pac-Man of a decision and fought dirty too. Look, man, same thing could be said about Orlando Salido, but guess what? He still beat and outworked the much younger Vasily Lomachenko. So he might be a glorified bum, but again, he rose to the occasion and gave Pacquiao a good fight. I would agree with you guys. I thought Pacquiao still won that fight, but he was supposed to knock out Jeff Horn, man. It wasn't supposed to be competitive. It wasn't supposed to go to a distance, but it did. Canelo's best ability, in my opinion, is his skill to adjust to almost any style and how he's developed his own style for what I've seen most complete fighters in all of boxing. He's the most complete fighter? I don't think so. I think Crawford's more complete because Canelo and Eddie Reynoso only have one style, all right? The only time Canelo has ever showed you a different aspect to himself was against Triple G, the first fight, when he started using his legs and circling out. But since then, it's always been the same. Relatively high guard, catching and slipping, counter punching in between. He tried, ever since he's moved up to 168, the same style to 175, it's always been the same, right? At 160, Canelo was very slick. I think Canelo was the best in his career at 160. When that fight against Triple G, the second one, and Danny Jacobs, he had a lot of good hip movement, head movement. He was slipping punches. That was the best Canelo, in my opinion. Keith Thurman beat Spence. Best wins first. Keith Thurman beat Spence. Okay, so you're saying that Spence fought Keith Thurman's leftovers like Sean Porter and Danny Garcia. Yeah, that Sean Porter fight could have been a draw, though. And Keith Thurman, he did beat Danny Garcia, but again, I don't really think highly of Danny Garcia. This is the same man that struggled with Eric Morales, a 40-year-old Eric Morales. He had to fight him twice. So again, that lets you know Danny Garcia isn't that great. And he didn't want to fight Victor Postal. Boots is better than Spence ability-wise. Yeah, he's much more athletic. If Spence fought Boots, he would get knocked out. I agree. Boots isn't tested, but skill-wise, he's on a higher level than Spence currently. I do agree. I would agree with that. In terms of an athletic and skill-wise ability, Boots is much more versatile, but I need to see him become unified. So he needs to beat Cody Crawley. He needs to beat Stanionis. He needs to beat Virgil Ortiz if Virgil can make to 147, or Alexis Rocha. And if he can beat those guys, then I would say that he's better than Spence. But I don't think those three guys are better than the three champions that Spence fought. I don't think Cody Crawley is better than Ugas. I don't think Sean Porter. Sorry, not Sean Porter. I don't think Stanionis was better than Sean Porter. And I don't think Virgil Ortiz is better than Kell Brook. People asking for Crawford to fight Boots. Yeah, I mean, shit. Of course, he's undisputed. Kell Brook was being avoided. That's why he went up to fight Triple G. Yeah, Keith Thurman didn't. That's a good comment. Kell Brook was being avoided after he beat Sean Porter. Keith Thurman only talked about it in interviews, but he did not want to fight him. The only one that wanted to fight him was Errol Spence, and when he did, he got beat. He was fighting dirty against Pac-Man, headbutting and all types of shit. Yeah, I agree. Look at how Canelo fought against Floyd, and then watch him against Jacobs. Yeah, that was the best Canelo that I've ever seen, and Jacobs probably lost by 1 round. That's two entirely different fighters. Yeah, Canelo learned a lot from Floyd. Boots Ennis versus Cody Crawley is next, from what I hear, and possibly Thurman versus Stanionis. I got Stanionis knocking out Thurman, and Ennis is gonna put on a beating against Cody Crawley. I like him a lot.
He's a volume puncher.
In his last fight, he didn't look so hot. All righty, Drew. I think we opened up a can of worms, man. Look, bro. So the topic of the day, as Canelo tells Bud Crawford, that you only have one big fight. You fight with nobody. That's what Canelo's saying to Bud Crawford, right?
Really?
I was trying to speak earlier in terms of defining the term, what it means to have a big fight. So the way I characterized it is, as long as it checks out one of these boxes, it's a big fight. One, if it's a popular fight. So like it sells on pay-per-view or it does big numbers, right? Like a fantasy matchup. I feel like that is a definition of a big fight. Also, there is a legacy fight, right? Like, let's say Terrence Bud Crawford versus Julius Ndongo. That was a legacy fight because it was for undisputed. While Julius Ndongo might have been a one-hit wonder when he knocked out Edward Trovanovsky early, I think like in 4 rounds. He just landed a good left straight and dropped his ass. Nonetheless, he got 2 belts, actually 3 belts, the IBO, the WBO, and the IBF, if I'm not mistaken. So Crawford fighting him, right, Julius Ndongo, that was a huge fight because that led to Terrence Crawford to become undisputed and essentially, innovate the sport of boxing in terms of accomplishments, because what followed afterwards, Teofimo Lopez wanted to be undisputed, Canelo wanted to be undisputed, Jermell Charlo wanted to be undisputed. Prior to Terrence Crawford, never accomplished that. Maybe it's not a popular theme, but because he did something, he got revered. He went up to the pound-for-pound rankings because of such feat. Everybody started. So he's a trendsetter. So that's another thing. So there's legacy, popular fights like Tank versus Ryan. That's a legacy fight, even though there's no belts or unification or undisputed on the line.
There's still a lot on the line.
It's a huge fight, so it's a big deal. So that's kind of the way I look at what a big fight is. So I say all that because Canelo only tells Bud Crawford, look, homie, you only got one big fight, and that's Bud Crawford. How I would reply to that, I'd be like, nah, bro, I fought Urukis Gamboa. That's a huge fight. Julius Ndongo, Victor Postol, Jeff Horn, right? Those are also big fights. Now, here's the thing. The reason why I say those are big fights is because when Bud Crawford fought these dudes, they had a shit ton of momentum. Victor Postol beat and knocked out Lucas Matisse. Ain't nobody do that before. Not even Danny Garcia. Danny did beat him, but he ain't do it the way Victor Postol did it. Jeff Horn coming off the Pacquiao victory, whether it was a fluke or a robbery or should have been deducted points for the resting, the elbowing, all that dirty tactics, the excessive hugging and rubbing of the heads. The point is, why would he try to come out boxing with Manny Pacquiao and look like Chris Algieri? Make it a dirty fight like Orlando Salido did with Lomachenko. Why am I gonna try to outbox a 2-time gold medalist with 400 fucking victories? No, I'm gonna give him the little veteran seasoned Cajun seasoning sauce. I'm gonna go out there and just bang it out and go as far as I can with these low blows and make it a rugged fight. And hey, welcome to the pros. So, what do you think of a big fight? How many big fights would you give credit to Bud Crawford?
Look, I think it's really just probably like 3 or 4. But obviously the Spence fight was obviously is what actually made his name bigger. But I just feel like Spence was the guy with the more had more fans backing him up, and I feel like Terrence Crawford kind of got some of those people on his side now. So some of that attention that used to be on Spence is now on Crawford. So I think Crawford is in a way different position because he holds more weight now. He moves the needle more now. And I think he's going to have to prove that with another big fight. But I think I definitely think Crawford has the star potential now. Everyone regards him as pound for pound. So I think once you hold that title and it's pretty unanimous, you automatically sell a lot of pay-per-views. It just hasn't been proven up until the Spence fight, So I feel like their second fight is not going to do as great, obviously, number-wise. But I just feel like Crawford's just in a whole different level now as far as the attention that he's gardening or, bringing in and stuff. So
is the rematch a big fight for Crawford's record?
Yeah, it would be great.
No, not great. Would it be a big fight for his resume? Because a lot of people are discrediting him because they're saying Errol is dehydrated. So now that Errol's going to be able to not be dehydrated and add 7 more pounds, is it now a big fight?
I still think it's a big fight. I still think I think we're curious. The curiosity of wanting to know how Spence looks like at 154. Because you never know. He might just get it. He might be a whole different fighter and just be completely improved with the extra 7 pounds that he would put on. But what would happen if he would actually knock out Crawford in the rematch? What would happen then?
So to answer that question, what would happen then is I would believe that Errol would be kicking himself and saying, fuck. I should have fought Bud Crawford before I fought all those other dudes because I waited too long. But to that point, I don't think it would be a big fight for 3 reasons. 1, Errol is no longer undefeated. 2, all the belts and the undisputed lineal ring status at 154 is no longer on the line. But 3, it is a big fight still. It holds weight because, like you said, what if Spence was able to knock Bud Crawford out? So that risk, but the legacy isn't there. It's just more like a get back. It's like if Canelo were to beat Floyd like at 168 or now. It doesn't mean anything no more because it doesn't hold the same level of significance. Here's another thing. Going back to the undefeated record. When you're undefeated, bro, you have the aura of invincibility. You've never tasted defeat. You don't know what losing feels like. You don't know what it means to be humbled. Like, bro, you're on cloud 9. You're the fucking king, bro. You're the king. You have all these belts around you, and now some dude came and snatched all that glory from you. He took everything, your history, all your accomplishments, and he said, man, give me that shit. That shit's mine. And that's what Bud did to Spence.
It was Spence's option to activate the rematch clause. So it's kind of like
this is one thing that Spence can never do if he fights Bud Crawford at 154. Now, conversely, if somehow Spence goes, you know what? I'm gonna fight you again at 147 for all those belts. then it still holds the same significance. And it's actually amazing if Spence does that. But people are still going to be like, nah, he was dehydrated. See, a lot of people are focusing on the weight. I'm actually not even focused on the weight. I'm focused on the inactivity. Spence did not look
active.
didn't look active.
Yeah.
Look lethargic. His timing was off. He didn't look sharp. His punches was looping. His reaction to defense, he was ducking below the waist. Like, bro, you look terrible. That doesn't happen because of weight or dehydration. That happens because of inactivity. That's the big factor. See, everyone's focused on the weight. Well, guess what? Bud is 36 years old. He was bigger, physically bigger and stronger than Errol Spence at 147. He's going to be bigger than him and stronger than him at 154. The difference is Terrence took a fight in between. See, the timing of everything is significant. The activity level is significant. Now, I think Larry Liston or Demon says a fishy fight or a record beating David Avanesian because his thumb was loose or the glove lacing was terrible. I agree. That is fishy. I don't know why the commission didn't stop the fight or the ref be like, hey, yo, we have like a fucking fake ass glove here. Let's swap it out in action. You can't just continue to fight somebody with your bare fucking fist. Like, bro, you gotta, like they cut off and you call time and you cut off the rope the tape when it's like flinging up in the air. You got to do the same thing with a glove, even more so with a glove. So that was very strange. I don't know why they didn't stop the action and, just swap out the gloves. That was very, it happens.
Easy, right?
I saw Yuruki's Gamboa's shoe fall off and rip of the sole, and they didn't even change the wardrobe. So they should have changed the wardrobe then. I don't know why they didn't.
Black Prime. That's Black Prime, dude. They don't. They look kind of
with Gamboa and Tank Davis. Is that a PBC or Showtime fault? No, dude. It just sometimes just a malfunction of an equipment, and when that happens, you got to take extra measures to halt the action. Nobody wants to stop the action. Nobody wants to give anybody an extra advantage to recuperate or breathe in fresh air or talk to your corner and instill a game plan. No, but extra measures have to be taken. Because it's the safety of the fighters. So it is pretty fishy, but it happens.
It just sucked for the promotional company Black Prime because it was like their first time as a boxing event. It was their first time, so it kind of made them look bad. Because
Let me read a couple of the comments. How would Crawford do against Bivol? He would completely get outboxed, in my opinion. Bivol is technically at a higher level than Bud and bigger. I wouldn't say he has a better technical level than Bud because Bivol fights all his fights the same way. In and out, 1-2, step back, 2-1, in and out, 1-2. That's all Bivol does, right? And he circles out and he moves like Mikey Garcia did in the lower weights, but he is just much bigger. You are asking a guy, Bivol walks around 200 pounds, 198, and Crawford's never walked around that weight. He might spar cruiserweights, but again, no one asked Canelo to move up to fight Bivol. Like, bro, you just beat Caleb Plant. You're undisputed. Why the fuck are you moving up and fighting Bivol? Oh, I want to have another belt. Bro, you beat Kovalev at that weight class.
Yeah.
Like, go fight Beterbiev, who's got 3 of the belts. That makes sense. Why the fuck are you fighting Bivol? No, I think what happened in that situation was Eddie Hearn told Canelo, look, we have a fight contract, but I'm going to go let you fight Caleb Plant to become undisputed. But in return, when you come back to Matchroom, you got to do a favor for me and you got to fight Bivol. Canelo was like, I'm going to honor that. That's what happened there. He's like, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine. I'll let you go become undisputed, even though you're contractually obligated to stay with me. But in return, when you come back, and I know you're going to because we do good business, I need you to fight Bivol because I need to make a bigger star. I think that's what happened in that situation. That's why Canelo is not eager and he walked away from the Bivol rematch because he was like, bro, I don't need you. I didn't need you the first time. I made you a name. Be grateful. Go establish your legacy because your legacy ain't fighting shorter men. Mike Tyson dominated all his opponents with ease till he fought Buster Douglas. That was the first time he truly faced adversity. And what happened? To my point, Larry, Bud Crawford has faced a lot of tough opponents. You guys just don't give him credit for the likes of Victor Posto, Felix Diaz, Jeff Horn, Ray Beltran. But I know these guys. These guys are tough. Bud Crawford has only fought tough opponents. Even the Brady's Prescott fight, that was a tough fight. And when Bud Crawford beat him, He was coming off a victory of beating Amir Khan and shocking the world. But a lot of people don't give him credit for that. But HBO did, and that's why they tied him down and they made him relatively a big star. If Crawford was fighting level of opposition that Canelo is fighting, would he be undisputed and undefeated? So if he was fighting the level of opposition that Canelo fighting, would he be undisputed and undefeated?
Who?
I think Crawford would struggle with Erislandy Lara, but I think Crawford would be. I think, well, at the time, I suppose.
Oh, okay.
I think Crawford would struggle with Erislandy Lara because of his extremely long arms, but I think Crawford would. I think he would have beaten the 36-year-old Floyd Mayweather.
I don't know. He was just too defensively like.
Nah, he would have beaten him because I saw some things that Manny Pacquiao with short arms was able to do against Floyd, and even though Floyd beat him, he didn't dominate Pacquiao. He wouldn't dominate Crawford either. If Crawford had fought Mayweather at 23, he would have lost as well. But again, we're talking about Canelo having like damn near 48 fights at the age of 23. Crawford barely has 40. So that's not, you can't compare that. It's not comparable because of experience. Experience matters a lot. Bivol, those fights the same way, but he's defensively better than Shakur. Bivol fights the same way, but he's better defensively than Shakur. Better defensively than Shakur. Again, Bivol has only stayed in one weight class. Shakur has moved up to 3. So how can Bivol be such a pound-for-pound fighter when he's always the much bigger man in all of his fights, except Zurdo Ramirez? But weight-wise, he was bigger than Zurdo. Zurdo had to move up to 175. So I don't think Bivol is that great of a fighter just because you beat Canelo. If you are, you would be doing what Usyk is doing. You would have already been undisputed. You would have already been at cruiserweight. Hell, you might even be at heavyweight or bridgerweight. Bivol has a much better resume than Shakur. Okay.
And it's more proven.
Shakur's a 3-time division. Well, on the cusp of being a 3-time divisional champ. Bivol just has 1 belt and isn't regarded the dude at 175. Beterbiev is, and is more proven. I don't think so, man. Again, a lot of people don't give Shakur a lot of credit, but a fighter like Joey Gonzalez, that's a tough-ass fighter right there. Yo, what's going on, Tista Roar? How you been, bro? And what do you think about all this mess, man?
What's up, man? Doing good, man. I'm just fucking around here, playing that Resident Evil 4 on the PS5, man. Just got it, but no, going to the fight. Throwback.
That's a good ass game.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I was about to return it my first fucking day, my second, third time playing it because I couldn't pass that. I couldn't pass the first fucking level. It was ridiculous until I looked online. You're not supposed to kill all these idiots or whatever.
You can't kill all the zombies at first. You have to upgrade your guns, and you have to basically, you can't kill those dudes. You're talking about you're at the village, right, where they're doing all the occult. Yeah, you can't kill those guys, bro. And one of the things about Resident Evil is that you have to rationalize not only your herbs and your ammo, but you have to wait till you upgrade, then you come back and get your get back. But right there, you just gotta scavenge, circumvent all the action, and slow them down. You can't kill those zombies, bro. They're too strong. You can't return it, bro. That game is freaking amazing, bro.
I bet. No, I asked my homie, he's a gamer. Everybody, I heard good reviews. I was like, what the fuck, man?
On a PS5?
Yeah.
I was fucking pissed, bro. I couldn't pass that shit like for 3 straight days, and I was like, "This is the biggest bullshit I've ever bought, man. Fuck this game."
Nah, dude, that game is gonna shock your mind, bro, because there's some epic mutated zombies. I can't even spill the beans, bro, but it's fantastic. Like it's the best zombie game that you're ever gonna play, and it's gonna be the best experience of it because it's great storyline. You're Leon. Dude, it's fucking fantastic, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, but going to the boxing, right? So you just brought in Bivol Berbatov. Fuck, that would be sick, man. I'm not gonna lie, I like Bivol's style. It's very disciplined, but Berbatov is straight war, bro. It's carnage. It's power. I got Berbatov there, man. That one's a sick ass fight, man. I would love to see that one right there.
Wait, which one?
Medvedev Bivol, bro.
Oh,
I would
Viterbi
love
and
to
Bivol.
see that.
Okay.
Oh, that is a sick ass fight.
Mhm.
But going back to the topic, the actual topic, man. Fuck. Yeah, it's I logged in a little bit later, man, so I totally missed out a lot of the things. Should we stay on topic to Bomac or what's going on, man?
No, bro. It's look, man. I've been reading the comments, and the comments just went wild. So
Yeah, I saw
we're speaking out
there's a
here,
shit
bro.
in
So
the
it's
comments.
everything. If you want to talk Bomac being arrested, you want to talk about, is Bud Crawford going to be the same without his lead trainer? Whatever you want to talk about that is around Canelo and Bud Crawford, or read the comments. Hey, I'm all for it, bro. This is
You know,
fun.
you know what, Bomac. Just a comment on Bomac and all the other stuff that just happened recently. Bomac, I mean, shit, this guy fucked up. I think athletes in general, they gotta think of themselves. They're professionals now. They're still in the hood. They still have all these ties. They still go back. They still have, they're not trying to get bigger than what they are. Unless they're like Floyd Mayweather, then that's when you start hiring multiple securities. But you need to have one guy. This is the way to do it, and nobody thinks about it until shit like this happens. But the thing is that this already happened to him. He already had one fucking charge against them, for having a weapon on him.
It's happened before with Bomac.
Yes, so he should have known.
It's
He should have
happened
known.
before.
Yeah.
What do you
So
mean? Like he took a gun before in the UK as well?
I don't know if it was the UK, but he already has a gun charge. I've
Wow.
heard. I don't know exactly what the details behind that is, but so he's already had a gun charge, and he's already stated that. But I don't know the details on that. But I mean, going overseas, first off, it's an unregistered gun, from what I heard.
Wow.
It's an unregistered firearm. How he got it? Either he got it,
Someone set
on
him
board.
up.
I don't even know. I mean, these guys think the thing is that UK. This is what I was thinking about. The UK is fucking wild, man. Not everybody has weapons out there. I bet you there are, but not everybody has weapons out there. But they have, like, what I mean by weapons, I mean like firearms. They're very limited. Not like the States,
Yeah, they walk around with machetes and knives, bro.
They walk around with knives. Yeah, they walk around doing some weird shit. These gangsters out there, they walk a little differently. They definitely follow athletes. They're known to do that. Like all the big soccer names.
Oh yeah, the
They've gotten their
hooligans.
house. Oh yeah, these guys they break into their house. They steal their shit. They're known to do that. Like in Manchester, especially. So I heard that was the terminal, or that was the airport that was he got caught in. Right, it was in Manchester. So he probably heard of that, and he's like, oh shit, might as well pack my shit and pack an unregistered gun.
It sucks because he's coming off of a high, man. And he whether it's a setup or not, like this dude probably changed the trajectory of Chris Eubank's career. Because
Definitely.
Because of the I seen him fight a different fight yesterday, and I seen Bomac was actually, or I heard Bomac kept shouting stuff to him, and I'm like, damn, I think sometimes coaches just know what to say to fighters, and it'll just click in their heads. And I think he has that connection with Chris Eubank, but I'm just saying, like, it sucks after all that has to happen, and it's we'll see how the facts go down, but
it is very shocking. I don't know why Bomac did what he did.
Yeah,
I'm sure that you guys have heard of this conspiracies of like the ex-manager that they had named Dan Killigan, that I guess Bud Crawford and then walked away on certain deals, and they're saying, a lot of people, that he planted a weapon on there to lock up Bomac. I don't know.
Shit, I did not hear that, bro.
Know who he is, but he's like this Irish mob boss or some shit, something amongst those lines, that distributes a lot of angel candy and whatnot. I don't really know too much about it, but I know everybody is like, he's like the underground Al Heyman, that everybody pays their dues to him, so to speak. And I know he had this one company. I think it was like in Dubai. It was like a managerial company, and they had to shut it down. In fact, they let go of all the employees because of who Daniel Killigan, who he was, and the federal government were tracking him down. I forgot what the company was called, but I know they were buying out a lot of fighters, and they were managing a lot of fighters as well. I gotta actually Google this so I can give you guys that name. But I want to say I'm gonna read a couple of comments because they're not letting that foot off my neck. They're saying you said Crawford was better than Bivol, but that's not true. Bivol being a light heavyweight has better defensive statistics than Shakur and fought better fighters than Shakur. Yeah, but we're talking about Crawford. I don't need you to bring up Shakur. Look, Crawford is a 3-time divisional champion, 2-time undisputed. Bivol ain't none of that. And again, Bivol only has 20 fights. Crawford has double. So who has Bivol fought that you're like, oh man, he's amazing?
You know,
nobody at 175.
They're
Sullivan
both
Barrera,
fighters, though.
I like Sullivan Barrera, but he's equivalent to Ray Beltran. Okay, aside from Sullivan Barrera, who are you gonna give me? Lenin Castillo, Jean-Pascal Isaac Chilemba? Those aren't better than Victor Postos. Those aren't better than Felix Diaz. These are gold medalists. These are undefeated fighters. And when Crawford was beating these dudes, they were coming off an ultimate high. Bivol fighting those dudes were essentially coming off a loss. Maybe not the Joe Smith Jr. I think that's when he became a champion or so, right? And then he fought Craig Richards. I like Craig Richards, but he's not a great fighter. He's never even been a champion. He's always
he made Zubdo look. He made Zubdo look.
Gonna be like, well, he beat Canelo Alvarez, bro. Canelo Alvarez, if I'm being honest with you, he should not be at 175. He should not even be at 168. Canelo Alvarez is a middleweight. In fact, Canelo Alvarez shouldn't even be fighting at 154 or 160 either. The dude is like 5'7" and a half. Yeah. He should always stay at 147. Now, he's a big-ass dude, but he's not bro, the fact that he's fighting at those weights and doing what he does, it's like Manny Pacquiao legendary shit. Because Manny Pacquiao started at 105 pounds. The dude would wear coins and socks in his trunks just to make weight.
Yeah.
Because he was too small. He was like 97 pounds. So again, going to what Larry Liston was saying earlier, the smaller man doing incredible things. Absolutely. That's the definition. Mike Tyson beating the dudes that are like when he's like 5'10", knocking out the block of dudes that are 6'9". It's incredible. Like, bro, I can't stress how amazing that is. I'm not here to shit on Canelo. I'm not here to shit on nobody. What I am trying to tell you guys is you got to put respect on these fighters' names because I know things that you guys aren't going to give credit to, and I'm telling you guys are completely wrong. You also said why Canelo didn't go after Beterbiev, but he rejected a fight with Canelo. And also Bob Arum said they're not paying Canelo the amount of money he was earning, which was $30 million at the time. See, this is where the big mistake that Bob Arum, if that's what he allegedly say, you don't pay Canelo that money. You let Beterbiev go to the other side and have them pay for him, like how you let Jose Ramirez go over to the zone and beat Maurice Mighty Mo Hooker. You don't have to pay Jose Ramirez $6 million or $5 million and what he got to pay Hooker. Let the zone and Eddie Hearn overpay for the market. So you just rejected Beterbiev to getting his highest purse bid or his purse, and you rejected him getting the glory that Bivol now has. So I don't know if that's true. Larry Liston says, why wasn't Crawford affiliated with Daniel Kinahan? Yes, he was. At one of Kinahan's weigh-ins, a guy was shot with a machine gun. Maybe Bomac was afraid of retaliation. Yeah, I agree. That conspiracy seems holds a lot of truth. Look, I don't even know if I'm supposed to be talking like this. You know, federal government, Daniel Kinahan, man, that's like, you know.
Yeah, it sounds like some mob shit, bro.
You're mentioning the word territory. You know, I don't want to say some stuff, but man, I don't know. Check this out. Hold on. I can't stress it enough. At one of Kinahan's weigh-ins, a guy was shot with a machine gun. Was shot with a machine gun. We're talking Uzis, guys.
Yeah, not a regular like
AK-117. Bro, what?
That's fucking savage, man.
Maybe Bomac was afraid of retaliation. Well, that's a big man. That's a big-ass target.
Yeah.
But a machine gun at a weigh-in?
That's like he wanted him dead.
Them Irish boys don't play. lots of clans. Ward
Wow.
retired to duck Bivol.
That's crazy, man.
Man,
Yeah, I gotta do my research on this.
Larry, you playing devil's advocate tonight. I will say this: if Bivol was so amazing, and he has the best defensive statistics ever known to mankind in the sport of boxing, then why doesn't he move up or down in multiple weight divisions? Why isn't he unified? How come he didn't beat Alexander Volstik, but Beterbiev did? Hell, why didn't he fight Sergey Kovalev at the time when Ward did? He didn't fight all these dudes. If he was that dude, like Lomachenko is that dude, he should have been fighting these guys in his third professional fight like Loma was doing. Loma fought Gary Russell Jr., undefeated champion, after coming off a loss against Orlando Salido. If Bivol was such a dominating force, where his statistics, defensively wizard, impeccable footwork, amazing combination, the best boxer known to mankind, how come he ain't as accomplished as these guys? Because the reality is he's not a pound-for-pound fighter. He's a pound-for-pound fighter because he beat the shorter Canelo Alvarez. Amazing moment. What have you done since then? Where's your fight? You had an amazing run at 2022. Where's your momentum carrying over to 2023? Where's your big fight? Oh, the Russian politics. Bob Arum the WBC don't want to let Bivol fight all these unification bouts. Bro, why move up when he hasn't cleared his division?
I think he wants to fight Canelo again. That's a big money fight. You know, these Russians, they think differently. They think, you know what? I'm in here for the money. Fuck it.
Look,
I think there's gonna be a price Canelo can't say no to. I just feel like Crawford holds more weight now, like substantially. Whenever they go through their analytics, they're gonna see how much more weight Crawford holds. I mean, I forget how many followers he just gained after this fight, but he's up there now.
Yeah, after the Canelo fight, he gained like 400K. He was like around 97 to 120,000 followers. Bivol.
Yeah.
When he beat Canelo, it went to like 650, bro. Like his numbers went high. Same thing with Tank. When he fought Ryan Garcia, he maybe had like 4 million, 3.7. And then when he beat Ryan, he's almost at 7 million.
Yeah, it's like they absorbed the star power from their opponent or something.
And that's how it should be. But here's the thing. There isn't a lot of challenges at light heavyweight besides Beterbiev. I believe Bivol will beat Beterbiev and move up to cruiserweight and possibly take all the belts. What I am trying to say is this. Bivol has lost a shit ton of momentum since last year. He's very inactive. He hadn't fought in almost a year, right? Now, rumor has it that he's scheduled to fight an unknown name sometime this year. But like you said, who is it going to be? There's not a long list at light heavyweight, right? And the Beterbiev fight, honestly, I don't think that fight might ever happen. I don't think
think it's ever gonna happen.
Bob, in terms of who's gonna pay the money for it?
No,
the fans aren't gonna pay the money for it. And Bivol and Beterbiev aren't big names. Just because Bivol gained 500K off Canelo doesn't mean they're fiscal supporters. Doesn't mean they're gonna shell out pay-per-view money.
It's a politically impossible fight to make.
That's how highly I rate Bivol for me. He's the best technical fighter in boxing, even better than Shakur. Well, here's the thing. I don't think Shakur is the best technical fighter in boxing. You guys are forgetting Bud Crawford. Bro, Bud Crawford is the best technician that boxing can offer right now. The next would be Lomachenko or Usyk. Those guys have done it in multiple divisions. Look, if Bivol moves up to cruiserweight or 200 pounds and fight those guys, who's at that weight class? Badu Jack is a champion. Badu Jack's like 42 years old, 38 or 42, around that age. And he's a champion. So if Bivol were to move up to cruiserweight, man, Canelo could probably move up there and fight Badu Jack. Maybe at a catch weight, but he would still fight him, probably beat Badu. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like that cruiserweight, I don't know if Jai Opataya is a cruiserweight or a middleweight. I'm not too sure. But can
I
Bivol
keep seeing his name around.
I gotta see it. If Bivol was that dude, he would be up there. But I know I can proudly and honestly say Usyk, Shakur, Bud Crawford, Canelo, because they've done it at multiple weight classes and dominated. I can't say the same for Bivol. He's not.
Hey, the guy that you mentioned before. Utape or
Yeah, Jai. I think his name is Jai Opataya. He's amazing, bro. He
you seen him?
fought and beat this Russian fighter named Mercedes. Mercedes, mind you, he might be 40 years old, but he gave Usyk, I thought, maybe his only one defeat. It was a close fight. I think all judges had it 7-5 to Usyk. This should have been close, and I think that was like for the championship fight for the World Boxing Super Series. Or actually,
Utape?
that might be not Marco Huck. What's the guy that just moved up to heavyweight? Murat Gassiev. I'm not too sure if it was Mercedes or Gassiev that were for the World Boxing Super Series, all the lines, but it was for Undisputed or something like that. He was a good fighter, bro, and Opetayo made him look his age mediocre. Like he looked amazing, bro.
That guy's a cruiserweight, right?
I believe so. Some rumors were previously that he was going to fight Yard. I believe Yard pulled out of the negotiations. So you're right. Bivol lost some momentum. He should took in that Canelo rematch. Yeah, look, he should fight Anthony Yard. Anthony Yard, he looked very good when he fought Beterbiev. So that would be a common opponent that would build up momentum for a super fight between those champions at light heavy. Yeah, I don't rate Shakur that high as well. I'm just using it in a general context. Badu Jack has nothing to offer to Bivol. He also dug Bivol back when he was at light heavyweight. Man, Demon, you're a big old fan of Bivol, bro. Like, when it comes out of Bivol, we like, do not talk about my man. Technically, the best fighter for me right now is Bivol, Boots Ennis, Usyk, Robeisy Ramirez. Technically, hell nah, bro. Technically, the best fighter right now is Alexander Usyk, Bud Crawford, Canelo Alvarez, and Bivol. Bivol's fourth. You can't put Robeisy Ramirez, man. Robeisy Ramirez, the dude that got knocked out by a journeyman in his first fight. The guy that went 12 rounds with short 5'2" Isaac Dogbo, who Navarrete beat the shambles off. Boots Ennis? Come on, bro. He's got like 37 nobodies. And Alexander Usyk and Bivol, yeah, I mean, I agree. Those are technically amazing fighters. I can't say nothing about that. Look, guys, you guys are gonna have to take over the chat, and then you guys gotta have to talk because A, I gotta go to the restroom, and B, I gotta get ready for my fantasy draft. I'll be lingering about. I won't be speaking. So y'all carry the conversation. Y'all just talk about the topic. Man, it's live right now.
Damn, guys. Wait, so where are you going? Where's he going?
I don't know. He's gonna get his fantasy football team on, man. He got another fucking team. He's gonna lose both of them.
I gotta go to the restroom, and then I gotta get ready for this fantasy draft amongst my coworkers in 2 minutes. So I gotta plan out things right now. I'll be right back though.
All right. Shit, I'm definitely not. All right, hold up. I was trying to ask him about something else, but it kind of threw me off.
Let's see, man.
Yeah,
so
man.
What's up then, man? What's up with the chat then?
Yeah, dude. Let's see what these guys say.
Read off something, bro. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Let me see.
So yeah, no. Larry Listen said technically the best fighters for me right now is Bivol, Boots, Usyk, and Robeisy Ramirez. You know, those guys, they're pretty good, man. I know Robeisy, he's that dude, man. I know people overlook him. I think he'll give Inoue a tough match. I want to see that fight.
Okay, I don't know much about this guy, Robeisy Ramirez. Where's he from? What's up?
Robeisy, I think he's Cuban. He's from Cuba, and he's a 2-time gold medalist.
So he definitely came from a Cuban school, defensive, fucking smart.
Yeah, he beat Shakur in the Olympics for gold medal. So yeah, no, this guy's pretty good. It was a close match. Pretty close match. All those guys that he listed have like pretty solid amateur careers.
Okay. So yeah. Bivol, okay, for sure. Bivol, we already know Bivol. Boots Ennis, there you go. That's a solid fucking fighter there from Philly. I mean, shit, he's definitely got Philly on his back. So, fuck. I mean, anybody within Philly, they're like, damn.
Yeah, no,
they're definitely rooting for.
I think in 5 years, Boots will be like the face of boxing, like pretty soon.
Think
like,
so?
Yeah,
you think he got Crawford? You think he got everybody on there?
Either he has to fight Crawford, or Crawford has to retire in order for this guy to, and you still have Canelo as a guy in there, and Canelo still says he has like I don't know how many more fights. But
what about Thurman? You down to see Thurman again?
Oh yeah, Thurman. I mean, that's like the dark horse right there, you know, because that dude's
Because he hasn't fought. He's been inactive for a fucking whole year or more.
but he has like a right hand that few have, and it's like that one. That's why there's the reason why they call him one-time Thurman. You know, that's
Yeah,
where
well, he came out of surgery, right? That's the reason why he was laid off for so long.
I think so. Yeah, I think
So
so. But
that's definitely going to be interesting to see what the hell happens then. You
well,
know, it affected his shit.
they were trying to set up. They were trying to set up him and Spence at 154 before the Crawford fight happened. It was supposed to be like a fill-in fight, and then
yeah, and then he chickened out. He didn't want it, or what? He didn't get paid enough.
Oh, I don't know what happened. I think in reality, Spence is just lazy. You know, he's just he's not lazy, but he doesn't fully live that boxer lifestyle. You know,
so he wants everybody to set him up and all that shit. He just wants to do easy work.
Yeah, because he thinks it's like football. You only have one training camp a year, one, you know, and it's not like that. You're supposed to live that life all the time and stay sharp all the time, and kind of just work on your technique, you know, and it comes with a lot of IQ. Knowing yourself takes a lot of IQ. And Spence, you know what I mean? He thought he was just gonna do the same formula, and you couldn't. It's just that's the thing. Spence has a lot of age on him to the point where he either has to do what he does good at a higher level, or he needs to I don't know, he needs to learn new tricks or something, man, because his style is just not meant to beat Crawford. Crawford's just technically sound, and those are the things that beat him in that fight. But yeah, man, I think Crawford is just a big name now. He's just at a whole different level now. Like, he has so much star power now that he makes every single guy in his resume look good. Because the fact that they stepped in the ring with him, they say, "Oh yeah, this guy stepped in the ring with Crawford." You know, didn't make it, but he was in the ring with him. So, you know, if you have Crawford on your resume, that and it's probably most likely it's a loss, but it's kind of still looking good in your resume. You know. But,
all right. So there's a Demon Squad says if Bivol fights Beterbiev, he won't be allowed to become undisputed. WBC won't allow it. What the fuck? Okay. Well, let's see. Why the hell not? You know.
Well, do you know why the WBC won't allow it though? Because they
because they're Russian, or they just don't want them, or what?
Yeah, because
for reals?
Yeah, Mauricio.
That's some bullshit. Okay, so, yeah.
Now Mauricio Suleiman, or I forget his name. It's Suleiman and Bob Arum. They're not. Whoa, they're not.
Okay.
They're not supporting anything. They're not supporting anything that has to do with Russia. So.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
so they ain't even interested in having them make all the money and fucking take it back.
In support of Ukraine, you know, so they're gonna be
okay.
So that's why it's never gonna happen. I mean, we don't know what's gonna happen, you know, like politically, we don't know what's gonna happen next. You know, they're still in a war or something like that. So
what's to say that, you know, Canelo fights Medvedev, I'm sorry, Bivol again then, you know, if they don't even want to fight each other.
Bivol don't want that anymore. He's done with him. And it's kind of long.
Well, Canelo.
What happened?
The fuck? Why wouldn't he? I mean, shit,
I don't know.
Make money.
He's a weird guy. He's a weird guy. He doesn't he says he wants legacy, and he does, but if you can't fight Beterbiev, why you just don't want to fight Canelo? Like, that's your next best option right there. Like, that's legacy right there, fighting Beterbiev, you know, but stars don't align for that fight. So he wants to stick to his guns and, you know, and say, hey, I'm done with Canelo for what, you know? And that's what he says. So it's like, dude, for more money, for more legacy, so you can get him out the way, you know? He actually caused a lot of BS because of him. Tim Tszyu wasn't able to fight Charlo for the fight, you know? But they actually gifted him the WBO, I believe. They just ended up giving that to him, but it's not officially his until they ring the bell for the Canelo Charlo fight. So, that's what they did with that. But just because Bivol did all that, Bivol, Doug, Canelo, he caused a lot of like it trickled down, like a lot of people didn't get opportunities because of that, because of,
damn.
I'm gonna say this. Check this out. If Bivol is that guy, and he's always said, "I'll come down to 168 and fight Canelo for those titles." Why can't you come down to 168 and fight Demetrius Andre? What about David Benavidez? If you're so pressed,
right.
I can't move up. Why don't you come down and fight the other fighters at 168? Go fight David Morrell. But here's the thing: he only wants to go down to 168 for Canelo only. Why is that? If you're that guy and you're having a hard time fighting guys at 165, don't lose your momentum, bro. Go fight these other perceived boogeymen that are after Canelo for those belts. They're your competition just as much as they're Canelo's. If you're that dude, everyone talks about, oh, I got to move up. Sometimes you can move down. Like Vasily Lomachenko, you can't become undisputed at 135, bro. That doesn't mean you can't go to 130 and fight Joe Cordina. Go fight Emmanuel Navarrete at 130. Go down, become undisputed down there. If you can't make it at 135, Loma, go down to 130. Same thing with Bivol. If you can't become undisputed at 168, go 175, go down to 168 and fight all those dudes. Then there ain't no excuses.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to hear none of that.
Yeah, he's different, bro. Like, it's just what type of philosophy do you back up? Like, I don't understand it. Like why it's so dumb, bro. Like he just needs to move down, fight the 168 guys, but yeah, bro. I want. There's plenty of guys I want him to fight. There's a handful of guys I want him to fight at 168. Because to really test those guys, there's so many players. Colin Smith, I'm pretty sure he'll beat. No, I'm not pretty sure, but like, there's a good chance that he can beat Beterbiev. He fights him. You
got beat the Reeve over
stupid, bro.
God.
You got beat the Reeve over
stupid. I went Travis Kelce 1, Bijan Robinson, and then I went Pat Mahomes.
Why did you do a quarterback?
I want quarterback tight end combo, bro. I don't know what the fuck.
Okay, get your ass another fucking running back then.
Yeah,
they're limited, bro. One thing I learned is I fucked up on my running game, so you better fucking pick it up, man. Yeah. There's a lot of receivers, bro. Look at my receivers. I didn't draft them right away. There's a lot of fucking receivers.
Yeah, that's what I did too.
Fucking my
But going back to the
fight, Canelo has all the belts. It's pointless to fight the other guys. It's not pointless because you're not going to get the Canelo fight. He's tied down to Jermell. Hell, he might be tied down to David Benavidez or Bud Crawford next. So what are you going to do? Just sit around the sidelines and hopefully you land the Canelo sweepstakes like you landed at 175? Nah, bro, just be active. Why Benavidez doesn't go up and fight Bivol? He's been draining himself to make 168. Last time he made 166. Why does he have to move up in weight? You know what I'm saying? Like, I would like him to go move up in weight as well, but David's not having issues finding fighting partners. Bivol is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know why, bro.
There you go. And Larry Liston also went over and mentioned Robesi Ramirez, the Cuban 126-pounder who beat Shakur Stevenson for the gold medal in the Olympics. He's a 2-time Olympic gold medalist. If you look at his skills and especially footwork, he's an A+. I mean, definitely those fucking Cubans. Whoever's in the Olympics definitely has to have good footwork. I mean, look at Lomachenko, right? That guy had like phenomenal footwork, like next level shit, right? That's why he got called the Matrix, right? It's his footwork, man. Footwork punches out of nowhere.
He has great footwork.
I got a question for you. You going Waddle or you going Devontae Smith?
I like Waddle over Smith, but
all right,
either or. I mean, either or.
That's pretty even right there.
Yeah, I mean,
just
look at
Brandon.
Look at the rush.
All right, guys. Some would argue that Benavidez has to move up since Bivol is the one with the belt. I agree, but again, the reason why I bring up that notion that Bivol should go down to 168 is because he has no dance partners at 175 at the time being. So Benavidez is already scheduled more or less to fight Andre or David Morrell or these fighters, right? Maybe Jamal Charlo. You can't say the same thing for Bivol. Like, who is he gonna fight? There's Alexander Volstik, and there's plenty of fights for Bivol, but he ain't taking none of them. He was a mandatory to Beterbiev, and Benavidez petitioned to be ranked back at 168. He made weight, but had like a 6 or 8 month camp to do so. Nah, man, he had fucking what's that guy that Juan Manuel Marquez had, the strength and conditioning coach, Memo Heredia. There he was. Also, he had to get in contact with Heredia, a known ped guru, to make weight. Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Okay. I mean, shit, you want to win or what?
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, I mean, to be honest with you, David, from what I hear, when he was like 15 or 16 years old, he played a lot of video games and loved to eat. He was like at 250 pounds. So if you guys want to talk about lazy and not dedicated, that's the definition of shit. That's what I do. I play video games and shit like that. So what I'm trying to say is he needed a strength and a conditioning coach. He could have gone with Memo Heredia. He could have gone with Alex Ariza or Snack Products. I'm just glad that Benavidez is doing this sooner. But again, the problem is this. You should have been doing this long time ago. Like Caleb Plant said, bro, you're supposed to look like that. What am I supposed to pat you in the back for doing your fucking job? No, he's supposed to be doing that stuff. So, in fact, he's like a little behind the game.
I wanted to read Larry Liston's last comment. He said, I can almost guarantee that Andrade doesn't have a shot in hell, against Benavidez. And you were saying otherwise, Ricky. You were saying otherwise.
Yeah, I got Andrade beating David Benavidez.
How?
You got him? Oh, shit.
Just the way he beat Willie Nelson, bro. A guy who's like 6'4". Team is now on the clock. God damn it. I'm going to go Kenneth Walker. Fuck it. I don't got time for this bullshit. I got David Benavidez getting knocked out by Demetrius Andrade, bro. I think Demetrius Andrade is gonna clock him with some shit he ain't never seen before, with them long tarantula style and long ass arms.
Wait. But Demetrius Andrade ain't got no power.
Nah, see, that's where a lot of people get mistaken. Andrade does carry a punch.
Oh, okay.
The thing is, he doesn't have one hitter quitter, but if you don't see those punches coming from them weird ass angles, you're gonna look like Jason Quigley. See, Demetrius Andrade isn't a bigger puncher than Edgar Berlanga, but you don't have to be. If you get caught with a punch that you don't see coming, Jason Quigley get knocked out by Andrade, but he couldn't get knocked out by Edgar Berlanga. He went the distance with him. He didn't even survive 2 rounds with Andrade because the punch you don't see coming, that's the shit that rocks you hard.
All right, so Larry Liston said Andrade got dropped by Desmond Nicholson and looked very ordinary. And in his last training session that was released, he looked slow and sloppy and lethargic.
Bro, it comes off of inactivity, though. He was inactive.
When was his last fight?
Shit, hold on, guys. I'm on the clock.
That's all good. I'll look that up right now.
Who?
Andrade. When was his last
fight?
No,
I mean, Patrick, who you got?
So we got Mark Andrews available, Justin Fields, Sanders, Mike Williams, T. Lawrence, Christian Watson, Hawkinson, Moore.
What you need?
Wow, dude! I guess my timer went out and they gave me Brandon Ayuk. What the
fuck? Nice. Hey, good for you. Good for you.
Wait. Hold on. You already got Kelsey, right? Fabric.
Yeah, I got Kelsey.
You don't need another tight end. Don't waste your time with tight ends right now. Your go-to guy every single fucking game is going to be Kelsey unless he's hurt. And that's very unlikely. So stick with Kelsey. That's all you need.
Yo, what the fuck
figure it out.
So this is my team right here. I have Kelsey, Waddle, Kenneth Walker, Bijan Robinson, and Pat Mahomes. Damn, that shit looking mad sus, bro. And they're not even dropping quarterbacks. They're just going skilled players. What the fuck? Anyway, sorry about that, guys. Benavidez Andrade got dropped by Desmond Nicholson and looked very ordinary. And in his last training session that was released, he looked slow, sloppy, and lethargic. Yeah, I agree. He looked pretty heavy set. Benavidez will break down, but this is early preliminary talks. Like, he's not even signed contract. There's nothing. The fight will probably happen 3 months from now, so I don't expect much from that day. Demetrius Andrade interview. Benavidez will break down Andrade and get a TKO in the 9th to the 10th, possibly by uppercut. Andrade is very open for that specific shot. I think it might be a left hook, but nah, man.
For Benavidez?
Benavidez' feet is ugly. He's got ugly feet. Nah, I
Yeah.
don't think so, man.
Very
He was
stationary.
struggling versus Caleb Plant and Andre. You don't even have to move like Caleb Plant. He not gonna be holding like that. But
Yeah, I think he gets stopped as well. It's just going to be an accumulation of punches. His defense is going to wear out in the later rounds. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens in the earlier rounds, but Andrade got feet and he can run, you know, so I think he's going to be on that bike all night. So wouldn't be surprised if he makes it all the way. That's why you're saying, yeah, he can probably beat him like unanimously. I see that happening, but yeah, Benavidez just accumulation of punches, the way he made Plant look. You know, so you're saying Andrade is better than Caleb Plant. I was thinking otherwise. I thought Caleb Plant is better than Andrade. He's fresher.
Andrade is a 2-time divisional champ from 154 to 160. Caleb Plant only has Jose. He only has Jose Uzcategui on that.
Hey, you don't who's the quarterback?
Mine, I got Pat Mahomes.
You can still get a. Oh, okay, no shit. You don't need another one then. Maybe you could pick
Should I
up
go Christian Watson, or should I go
Brock Purdy?
Running backs, bro.
Rocket, Evans, Judy, Brandon Cooks.
Hey, get Javon Hargrave.
Running backs, G.
Running backs, we got Miles Sanders, Jonathan Taylor, Akers, Dobbin, Williams, Rashad White, James Conner, Jared Cook, Alvin Kamara, Dalvin Cook.
Akers are white because White is gonna get pass catching. Akers is gonna get volume.
You're talking
about White from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Yeah, yup.
Get JJ
nobody
Watt.
else there.
Okay. I need a receiver, and then everything can be benched. Look, man, Andrade is one of those fighters, kind of like Bivol, where he doesn't really not like Bivol, sorry, kind of like Crawford, where they don't get the recognition that they deserve. Like when Andrade fought Vanes Martirosyan, mind you, Vanes Martirosyan dropped Andrade with a 2-1. It was a jab that dropped him. He kind of stepped on his foot, it looked like, and hit him with a push jab that dropped Andrade. All right, that was a very good win. A lot of people dismiss Vanes Martirosyan, but I thought he gave Jermell Charlo his first loss. It was a close fight. Maybe Jermell edged it out. You could say it was a draw. Could have gone either way, whatever you want to say. But Vanes Martirosyan is a good fighter. And a lot of people dismiss him on Andrade, who also was really good, was Willie Nelson, who has the same build like David Benavidez. And here's the thing. David Benavidez throws a lot of punches, but he's not a one-hitter quitter. He doesn't have a lot of power. And Caleb Plant said this too. He said, Canelo punches harder. All these flurries of punches, but he doesn't even have the snap on the punches like Pacquiao had. See, Pacquiao can hit you with that snap and drop you, one-hitter quitter like he did with Ricky Hatton, and he can throw it with 1,000 punches as well. So that's one of the things David's got going for him, and probably the only thing that he's got going for him is that he got a great motor, and he can throw a bunch of punches. But here's the thing. You can't throw those flashy combinations when the guy has a little bit of slight movement. You're going to find out. And he lucky Caleb Plant always has stamina issues because, man, he was winning those first 6 rounds with ease. Yeah, man. Sorry, guys. I'm a little distracted here trying to draft.
No, it's all good. Well, what a defense you trying to get?
I'm probably going to go with the Niners defense, bro, but I still need a wide receiver.
These Niners are Cowgirls
players.
What do you have in receivers right now?
So the receivers are Christian Watson, DJ Moore, Terry McLaurin, Tyler Lockett, Christian Kirk, Deontay Johnson, Dodson, Charles Goodwin,
Dodson. You could kind of like wait till they get it. Probably Dodson. You know,
they have Mike Evans, Jerry Judy, Hollywood Brown, Brandon.
Do not get Jerry Judy. He has a hamstring injury.
Damn.
He could re-aggravate it. Yeah, you got to think about all that shit. So Dodson is your boy because Terry McLaurin is going to play week 1, possibly 2 or 3. He has a turf toe. So Dodson and Sutton down the line. And, I mean, look at the Vikings.
Should I get Christian Watson?
Fuck, that's the only guy there in Green Bay. I mean, they do have Romeo Dobbs as that rookie, but up to you, man. You know, they have good players down the line. Like I said,
so you're telling me you'd rather get Jawan Dotson over Watson?
I like to watch that guy better. I'm not liking Romeo of the fucking quarterback Love. So I don't know. I don't know if he got better. I heard he got
Jordan
better.
Love, bro. She.
Not from what I saw last year, but obviously it's a new year. He definitely has to shine.
Why you gotta do this to me, bro? You convincing me to go.
No. You do. And I would go running back. Get a better fucking running back.
Should I get Alvin Kamara?
Up to you. He's gonna be good once he comes back, though. I'll tell you that right now because he has both his legs. Last year.
Fuck it.
Up to you. You like Christian Watson? Go for it, bro.
Get TJ Watt.
I don't know. I like what he did with Aaron Rodgers, but I don't know Jordan Love. But Jordan Love's got to pass the ball to somebody, and
he does.
Run back heavy. But I think Jordan Watson will be the primary target. Andrade wins the first 6 rounds, but problem is he gasses out in the late rounds, and he don't have a great chin. So Benavidez might win, but it is a 50-50 fight. Triple G destroys Vanes in 2 rounds. Yeah, man. Look. Vanes was a 154 fighter. He moved up to 160 on a 1-month notice after Canelo popped dirty. They salvaged the show, and Triple G hit him with an 11-punch combination. Left hook, right hook, 1-2. It was everything that you can throw at. And Triple G walked away with Vanes' wife because Vanes said that his wife was – yeah, no. I mean, Vanes said that Triple G was his wife's favorite fighter, so that's why he has to kick his ass now. But Triple G beat him and walked with his girl. You know, he posted some Adrian Broner on Paulie Malignaggi type shit. It happens.
Damn. But yeah, man. Andrade, I don't see him that highly, man. He's like fucking punch drunk already. You hear him talk? Have you heard him talk, man? He's like, hey, sounds all messed up, man. But yeah, he's lesser than Caleb Plant to me. But yeah, man, great fight. Great fight. I wonder what's in the undercard. Oh, actually, it's not even set up yet. It's not official, right?
Let me ask you guys this, because we've been comparing resumes and training camps and all this other nonsense that doesn't matter. If Canelo were to fight Bud Crawford, who wins that shit?
Depends what weight class.
168.
168. Well, I just saw like Amir Khan straight up tell try to advise Bud not to go up to that weight. You know, he's just too powerful. But at the same time, he can do what Mayweather did. You know, play a defensive role. Bud, I think what Bud has, his best skills is his timing, his his awareness of space and time. You know, he could counter. He's a great counter. So he sees you miss and he makes you pay, and he doesn't miss. He will not miss. Like he stays far enough but close enough to see you miss and make you pay. Very aggressive though when he makes you pay. He hits you right in the chin. Obviously in this last fight, you know, behind the head, behind the ear, whatever. But you know, the ref didn't stop it. The ref didn't say shit. The other guy didn't, complain. So it is what it is. You know, he definitely loads up on those shots. Very accurate. Canelo, could he hurt him? I've never really seen Canelo that hurt, but I mean, everybody can get hurt if you get hit in the chin too many times. I think he will give that work to Canelo. I think Canelo beat the shit out of his arms. You know, kind of like what Bivol. If he has to ask somebody for advice, probably be Bivol. You know, he's the one that conditioned his arms, basically take all that ass whooping. Or, whenever he had to, stay in the center in the pocket and block.
Canelo's just too big, bro. He's just too big. Physically,
or just too powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. I wouldn't be surprised if he breaks Crawford's arm. Wouldn't be surprised if he breaks Crawford's arm or some shit.
A fucking rib,
Or a rib, bro. Like he'll literally break him, bro. He's just not enough meat around him, around that bone for Crawford, and it's not necessarily all about that, but I mean, you can only be so good of a boxer until your body starts to not respond well,
I think Crawford definitely has a good well, I don't know if you know this, but Bomac is his nutritionalist. Like he's the one that I think he actually studied that too, so he does all his food, I believe. I don't know about the other guys or what's up, but yeah, I know that what do you call it? Bomac is that guy's a nutritionist guy, so he cooks for him and shit.
Let me read a couple of the comments. Canelo late round stoppage 10 in the 11th. Bud does well, but loses in same fashion that Jermell. Canelo KOs him 8 or 9 rounds. Canelo is too thick and too accustomed to the weight classes for a reason. Crawford just not going to have fat feet to move around for the ring for 12 rounds, and plus he's 38. Also, he's moving up 3 weight classes. Now, these are all valid points. They're all logical. Right? But let me tell you something. Let's just compare apples, right? Who dominated Amir Khan better because they have a similar common opponent? That's the only one. Amir
Crawford.
Crawford beat the fuck out of Amir Khan. Yep. From the first round, people were like, Crawford better not start slow. Boom! Fucking folded his ass. It took Canelo 5 rounds just to land 1 punch. So that lets me know speed, power, and IQ and setting up traps. Crawford was much more dominant. And here's the thing. He didn't have to make a move up in weight. You see what I'm saying? So, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be a great fight. I think that was more of a stylistically fit fight for Crawford. Because Khan was doing okay. I mean, we were expecting that big shot to come in at any moment. You know, everyone was expecting it, but he was winning a couple rounds. You know, so yeah, he did win a couple rounds, but I think stylistically, Crawford is capable of doing it. I mean, we just don't know, bro. We just don't know how he would carry the weight, and it's just an imaginary fight, bro. It's Canelo's really trying to let people know that Crawford is a great fighter, but it's like, bro, I don't like the way he said he said you fight with nobody. It's like, did he really say that? Like the exact same thing he did to Andrade? To Crawford?
Nah, he didn't tell him that. He goes, you're a great fighter, but you only have 1 big fight.
Who you got? Who your picks?
Let me see. My roster is Mahomes, Bijan Robinson, Kenneth Walker, Waddle, Christian Watson, Kelsey, Rashad White, Dotson. There's Deontay Johnson, Mike Evans, Jerry Jeudy, Hollywood Brown, Brandon Cooks. That's the receivers. Running backs, you got Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift, David Montgomery, Herbert, A.J. Dillon, Charbonnet from the Seattle. You have Antonio Gibson, Javonte.
You said Jahan Dotson in the receiving core, right?
I have him, Dotson.
Oh, you have him already?
Yeah.
Okay, well, up to you, bro. I mean, I personally, where I fucked up, where I wanted something.
Should I get Herbert from the Bears?
Cause honestly, I would probably go for defense, bro. Get a Savage defense, bro. The best fucking defense before they take it.
They already took them. I haven't
we'll take the next one. Cowgirls, get the
they're like no defense available, bro. You talking about
okay. Jets, Dolphins.
How many people? How many people in your draft?
Also, he moving up 3 weight classes. Who beat Amir Khan first? Canelo beat Amir Khan first.
Canelo beat him.
Amir Khan, I think, was Brady's Prescott. Canelo or Crawford? Canelo. Who would Vegas have as the favorite? Canelo. And who will be the A side? Canelo. Who generates more money? Canelo or Bud? Who will
Canelo.
be his favorite in that fight? I don't think this fight goes to the judges. Canelo has to KO him. Look, man, Canelo needed 10 or 11 rounds to KO Sergey Kovalev, who was like 38 years old or 36 years old and with a month of training. And what was Kovalev beating Canelo with? Nothing but the jab. Now, the judges somehow had it close, but Kovalev was beating him. I don't think Canelo landed anything until he landed those punches towards the very end of that round. So, again, Canelo would be the favorite to fight Bud Crawford, but it's not like when these guys fight, right? Let me put it to you like this. Crawford is a young 36-year-old. What I mean by that is he hasn't really been in the type of style of fights. Like, to reinforce Canelo's point, he doesn't have a lot of big fights like Canelo has had. Canelo has a lot of wear and tear, which is why he's had surgery on his hands, which is why he's had surgery and inflammation taken out of his knees. That's why he wears those knee braces. That's why Canelo hasn't been looking as dominant, because his body is slowing down and it's wearing down. Again, that's only natural when you're close to 70 fucking total fights.
And how many rounds boxed?
And here's the thing. But as long as Bud Crawford doesn't have to add 30 pounds of weight on him. In fact, don't do that. Use the Manny Pacquiao formula. When Manny Pacquiao was going up, he wasn't ballooning up in weight. He was beating these guys with speed and embrace that you are the smaller fighter and beat these guys with your speed. It would be a big mistake if you add a lot of muscle. So just focus on speed, focus on, punctuality with your punches being precise, punch selection. That's how you beat Canelo.
Yeah, he carried that weight well, moving on up. Pac-Man did. Like, he knew where to add weight, and he was it improved his game. His footwork was at another level, and it just depends on how Crawford is able to carry that weight, and whether it's actually slows him down, because in reality you're stretching your muscles, and that needs more blood, to supply that. So it's like, and all that blood's supposed to be going to your brain, not your muscles, so you have to kind of find that balance, knowing how to carry that weight on the way up and feeling good. I mean, obviously they're feeling good on the moving up, weight cut's not as harsh, but yeah, man, it's Crawford, man. I think out of everyone, I think he's capable of really taking down an older Canelo, stylist.
He is the bigger fighter, though. Pac-Man move up in weight, but also had a lot of catchweights. He sure did. Let me tell you this. Terrence Crawford wears a 13 size shoe.
God damn.
Now, 13. Who's the bigger man? You know what they say about big feet, right?
What?
They got big socks, bro. No, listen. All bullshit aside. No, look. Honestly,
big shoebox.
Canelo is the smaller man out of all those guys. But again, you guys are looking at it from the wrong perspective. Oh, everybody is bigger than Canelo. Callum Smith was bigger than Canelo. He had longer arms. He was heavier than them. Much taller.
Wait, you talking about Canelo?
Don't equate size and height with punch. Who punches harder, Bivol or Canelo?
Bivol.
Canelo punches fucking harder. So it doesn't matter about fucking size. It matters about punch technique, rotation, impact, speed, timing, precision. Bud Crawford is big, bro. He's big.
Yeah, and he's actually pretty fucking big.
Here's like this. It's what we call skinny. Sorry. Who do these guys take? Oh, you fucking
wire strength.
I'm gonna take wire strength. Defense. My bad. He's what you call. He's got that skinny hood man muscle, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some guys in the hood that are hella skinny, and they're just strong as fuck.
Like the hitman, her.
Cowboys defense. Let's go, dude.
Who?
I went Cowboys defense.
Yeah, that's the way to go, bro. They got a solid defense.
They got Michael Parsons. They got a badass player. They got
Gilmore.
They got fucking Stephon Gilmore. They got Trayvon Diggs. They got fucking Ohio State safety, something Hooker. Bro, they got some bad motherfuckers, bro.
Average.
Average. Hey, if Nick Bosa don't sign with the Niners, Drew, you got something coming. Coming.
Well, I'll cancel my membership. No.
Kovalev was still a bigger fighter than Crawford. Doesn't have the power at 175 puncher. Yeah, I agree. But here's the thing. He don't have to be. Pac-Man move up in weight, but also had a lot of catches. Oh, yeah, sorry. I already read that. Look, man, just to wrap this pretty short, I want to ask you guys a question. Now that Bomac might serve some jail time, I don't know, right? The legalities of the nature of the situation, right? Do you think for Bud Crawford not to have Bomac in his corner, is it going to affect him a lot in his career moving forward?
Definitely.
Why?
Well, he got him there. Obviously he's a savage, but like you said, Bomac was yelling things out to, this is another fight, right? He was yelling out some fucking instructions to what's his name? Was that Eubank, So, I don't know if you remember seeing the that fight with what's that fucker's name? The short little motherfucker, Porter. So he knows how to get inside his head. He knows how to tell him to, turn it up. That's the main coach. It's not like the second or third, coach. I mean, they all help him out, but that's the main face of the, his boxing core. It's Bomac. Now, if he's gonna have the second most or the most important fight, obviously the most important fight is the ones leading up next. Obviously he already got to this point, which is fantastic, crazy, shit. But now, if it's gonna be a Canelo fight, how the hell is it not gonna affect him? It's like, oh fuck, Bomac's not here. It's just a psychological thing. It's like, fuck, Bomac ain't here. Now somebody has to do this for me. Now somebody has to cook for me now. The nutrition.
I think I gotta cut you guys off. So you guys are saying, unless I might have phrased the question wrong, but you guys are saying, it's gonna affect him when he goes to Canelo. Did I say if having not Bomac? No, I meant like having Bomac in his corner for their Errol Spence rematch. I don't know if I said Canelo.
No, you didn't. You didn't say.
Oh, okay. You didn't say either or.
Yeah. But let's not get to Canelo because that's a fantasy moment, right?
Okay.
We still need, this fight at 154, and then maybe Bud can fight somebody at 160. Going back to, let me just rephrase it just to be a little more elaborative. In the rematch, because this is what's scheduled according to the reports, Errol has forced the rematch stipulation on Bud more likely at 154. The fact that he doesn't have Bomac, does he need him for the Errol Spence rematch?
And does he need him? No, I think at this point he has the blueprint to beating Spence. He really has the blueprint for the rest of his career. Obviously it helps, getting other people's opinion, but they fought this dude already. It's not like they're fighting a new guy that they need to game plan on. It would make it a lot harder if it was the first time that they're fighting Spence, but they got the blueprints already. They got the blueprint. They know how to Crawford knows what, I'm pretty sure knows what he does, what Bomac does as far as like food and like diet and all that. I think he has that all on lock. He has over, he's 40-0, 40 fights. He's got the blueprints, man. He doesn't need to change anything up. So yeah, I think, but Bomac does help though. I seen what I was watching Eubanks fight, and he kept saying like, keep it simple, and those little things, I think like I said, it changed the trajectory of Chris or Eubanks fight. So I see the importance of Bomac being in your corner, but it's not their first rodeo fighting Spence, so I think that helps a lot.
Got you. So let me read a couple of the comments. Bud Crawford doesn't need. Okay, so money changes people. Will the glory and money change Bud? Plus his trainer being locked up? I guess time will tell. Bud Crawford doesn't need Bomac to beat Spence in a second fight, but he does need a game plan if he's really serious about the Canelo. He's going to need his trainer. Bud will still beat Spence. Yeah, Spence is damaged goods. I would be surprised if Spence pulls off a win at 154. He might look better, but he will still lose. Yeah, definitely Spence is damaged goods. What happens if Spence beats Bud, though? Things are starting to move in a weird way right now. And why should Spence want that fight, knowing he was no match for Crawford at all? All right, so let me go to a couple of points. I don't think, like what you guys are saying, I don't think Bud needs Bomac for the Spence rematch. Again, Bud is going to be very confident. It's going to be much stronger. But this is a lot of noise, a lot of stress that he has to, work on. Now, that being said, he does have other trainers that are going to be able to, that are with and backing Bud Crawford in his corner, right? So he has like the guy Isao Dominguez. He also has, I don't know if it's Breadman or Coach Red. So he has 2 out of the 3 coaches there. And who's to say, you can't have some insight on Bomac, but it's that fatherly presence having in your corner, that wisdom, that cool, calm demeanor that Bomac has, that, hey, everything's going to be all right. It's like if you're boxing and you have Freddie Roach in your corner and he's battling Parkinson's, and this guy at his age, he's still, walking on the treadmill. He's still giving you instructions. It empowers you. You soak up the energy. He's like, no, you got to throw the combination, throw the right hook. And having Freddie Roach struggle with his battle, and he's fighting the good fight, it inspires you to even go more in that extra punch. So it is going to affect him in terms of an inspirational factor, right? But he's still going to be able to persevere because, like you guys said, he is a consummate pro. This isn't his first rodeo, and he's already got the upper hand on Errol, so he don't need him. But to you guys' point, if he does move up, hell, to 160 after beating Spence, or if he goes up to 168 looking to fight Canelo, he is going to need him. But by then, Bomac should be a freed man. Mm-hmm. I will say this. Right? Honestly, I got nothing else to say, guys. My points, bro.
Yeah, man. This is a saturated like topic, bro. Like almost every channel has been talking about this. It's losing steam, I feel like. It lost steam, but it's actually gaining steam as closer we get to the Canelo fight.
Actually, let me say this. Actually, just because Tistaror texted me, and this is rumors. Hearsay. Oh, you fucking bitch, bro. He took Michael Thomas, dog.
Wow. Don't worry about Michael Thomas, bro.
Sorry, excuse my language, guys. I wanted to say this. And we're talking about Bomac and Bud Crawford, like he needs a new trainer, or we're panicking. Doesn't Errol need a new trainer? Should he part ways with Derrick James? Because there's a rumor saying that he's gonna let him go.
No, I know. I'm hearing the rumors too, bro. I heard they might be leaving, but it's not confirmed yet. No one really knows yet. I'm not sure. I think it will help people like Spence. I think Spence needs a change of scenery. I think he gets comfortable. You know, he's the type of dude that wants to feel comfortable in training camp. Getting him out of that element hopefully will turn him into a dog. And but that still doesn't change the fact that his body has been tossed at 70 miles an hour in midair. So you know, that's a factor that where you don't know if your body's gonna keep up with you, with your mindset. But hopefully, if he does, man, I want him to go to someone like Robert Garcia, or I don't know, man. Some solid trainers, man, with that know about timing, and have some solid footwork fundamentals. But yeah, man. So many people can go with Spence, bro, that actually would actually improve his game. And I was actually thinking right now, since he's moving up, why not have with Bozy Ennis? Would that be smart, or would that be kind of dumb?
Wait, if he's moving up, why not fight Bozy Ennis?
No. If he's moving up, why not we get coached by Bozy Ennis?
Nah, I think if Errol Spence was gonna get a coach, I wouldn't go with Ennis, especially a guy who can easily go to 154 and fight me. Honestly, I would stay with Derrick James, but if I was Errol, I might add a consultant and get Robert Garcia, bro.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, yeah, dude, he's a solid trainer. He knows fundamentals.
But I think if Errol hasn't made any excuses, by the way.
Yeah.
Right? So there's nothing to say that like, oh, I was weight cut, I was inactive. Honestly, he hasn't made any excuses, so I don't see why he would change trainers. But it is an interesting rumor. If there's a guy that needs to make a lot of adjustments, it would be Errol, especially on his lateral movement, on his defense, head movement, catching and shooting, blocking and parrying. He's got to do better because ducking below the waist, it was like, damn, bro. Like, that shit was horrible. What happens if Spence beats Bud, though? Things are starting to move in a weird way right now. Why would Spence want that fight knowing he was excellent point demon? Larry, yeah, what happened to Bomac makes no sense. Why would he bring a gun to another country knowing that he was going to get checked at the airport? When weird things happen, things shift up quickly. A lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that normal fans don't see. You seeing that deserves credit. Something there is hidden agendas and the other things going on in the background. Whenever big money is involved, sketchy things start to happen. Yeah, those are very good points. We're not privy to a lot of details or behind the scenes. Hopefully when things come to light and there's a testimony on behalf of especially if there's any jail time, right? Because having a gun in an airport or a gun, let alone in the UK, that's a big ass felony, and they don't take things lightly. So if there is a conspiracy to have bodily injury or harm to Bomac, I'm pretty sure Bomac might bring certain situations to light. But again, if they're on some street shit, is he going to really snitch and talk to the feds? I don't know. You know, it looks like these Nebraska guys, they don't play around when it comes down to things. I remember there was a lot of bickering back and forth on the social media, and Terrence Bud Crawford showed his whole like outlet of garage of a bunch of guns and ARs and grenade launchers and a bunch of shit. I'm like,
yeah, bro,
what you need all that stuff for?
Yeah, he's loaded.
And you know, I don't know. Like I said, we're not privy to a lot of things that go on behind the scenes, and
yeah, you could tell, bro. Like he's the type to really defend himself, you know, because I guess the streets are hot out there in Nebraska, you know, and I was over hearing them talk about like the sides that don't get along in Omaha, and I'm like, damn, bro, you're pretty open like that. Like I understand everyone knows it, but obviously where we're at, you know, there's a lot of places that don't like each other either, you know, like it's just, I wouldn't be on here saying who, you know, like what and what, but I guess for him to just say it out, like, yeah, they don't get along with each other, you know, it's like, damn, you guys are, like, sounds like something that has been like established with since back in the day, you know, so I don't know. Terrence got like not anger issues, but like he's really protective, you know, he's really aware of his surroundings, but that's the type of dude I got the vibe off of him, you know. I was like, damn, this guy's the type to have a lot of guns. I haven't even seen the video you were talking about where he shows like his garage, but I kind of already imagined that from him, you know. He's like loaded.
Yeah, no, man. It's just, you know, again, we don't really know a lot of the information. And I'm gonna say this: there's a reason why Bomac feels that he needs to carry a firearm with him. I don't know who's after him. I don't know why he needs the type of protection over there in the UK. I don't know.
Yeah, it's really weird.
It's very strange circumstances for sure. There's a lot of questions that need to be asked and answered, and hopefully we get some revealing results, honestly. But on that note, man, I'm gonna wrap it up. Any finishing touches that you guys want to go in regards to these topics?
Let me think, man. No, man, it's just yeah, this is your topic. It's a fantasy fight, you know, and we were talking about how you don't like fantasy fights, you know, and I was like, wow, I seen the title and I was like, wow, you still went through with it. You know, but no, yeah, it's a fantasy fight. We're all wishing on that, but you know, I could have, you know, guessed it, you know, that they were gonna go for a rematch, you know, because what they were actually saying, you know, and how confidently Spence said, hell yeah, I'm gonna get the rematch with him, you know. So anyone that sounds that confident and saying there's gonna be a rematch, I guess you gotta believe him, you know. But yeah, that's all I got, though.
Yeah, I think the only reason why Spence wants that rematch is to it's essentially like when a fighter like Mikey Garcia, and let's say Mikey Garcia decides to come back off retirement, it's mainly because he doesn't end his career with a loss, right? So he's like, nah, I don't want you guys, the last impression to be me taking an L and getting beat by Sandor Martin. Let me take a tune-up or even a soft touch, and let me just get a victory and retire on a winning note. I think it's the same thing with Errol Spence. Not saying that he's going to land on the winning note against Bud Crawford, but it's going to be more of that aspect in the sense that he's like, nah, man, I just want to make sure those images, that fight that you guys saw, that was an anomaly. I'm way better than what I showed. Even if I get beat, it's kind of like Deontay Wilder when he got his ass blasted by my bad. When he got destroyed by Tyson Fury in the second fight, he was like, nah, I'm much better than that. Like, what the fuck? So he decides to fight him in the third fight, and he can live comfortably knowing that he gave it as good as he received rather than a one-sided beatdown. Same thing with Errol Spence. He's like, bro, I'm not that bad. Let me just get it back. And even if I get beat, I'm going to be much more competitive. And that's all he wants to do is make sure that, like, yeah, that aspect is not the last impression of him at 147. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I interpret it. I could be wrong. Yo, what's going on, Warp Speed? Thanks for joining us 2 fucking hours late. Man, that's the second time I haven't been invited to the live. Oh shit! You knew it was at 6 o'clock. I tailored the time to your fucking time that you explained to me. I didn't send you the link, but I sent it to your email.
Oh,
and I haven't been invited to the live. Angry emoji. I'm going to start packing heat in my briefcase. Live long and prosper. That's a contradiction. As always, Ricky, great show. Salute to the panel and Demon. Sorry that you couldn't make it on Warp Speed. One of the best discussions we had. I agree. Mr. Demon came out with haymakers. They were like, Biv was the greatest thing since sliced bread. You know, his style of boxing is what peanut butter and jelly are to Wonder Bread. Yeah, bro, it was crazy, bro. I was just like, what in the world? They were like buddies and all this. He ain't on Bivens level. Bivol could do no. In the 21 fights that he's had, he's the GOAT. And, man, they were just all over him, dude. Oh, man, I'm on. And, yeah, man, it was you missed out on a
quick question.
Quick question. Yo.
What are your thoughts on the Sergio Martinez comeback?
Sergio Martinez.
Man, he's near 50 years old. I mean, fighting for the IBO belt speaks for itself. It's not even a ranked sanctioning body or a known organization. I mean, if I was Sergio Martinez, I'd be like, let me fight inactive Jamal Charlo, who I haven't fought in over close to 3 years. I would go fight him. But even that being said, man, I'm happy to see Sergio Martinez. It looks like his comedic career didn't really kick off. I was able to watch some videos of his stand-up comedy on the YouTube. It was mostly like him just making fun of and poking fun of Chavez Jr. and his victory over him. But it wasn't really that good. But that being said, it's always good to see well, actually, it's not good to see a fighter that has a hard time hanging up the gloves. You saw with Roy Jones Jr., B-Hop versus Joe Smith. It's just sometimes where you got to hang it up and just be a head coach. But he still has the itch to fight. And, you know, if he is going to fight, I wish him the best. And, yeah, man, I don't really know.
Yeah, I'm pretty curious how he looks. Obviously, he's old as hell, but that was one of my favorite fighters. You know, when I was a casual, I was like, dude, I still am a casual kind of, but Sergio's always been my favorite, one of my favorite fighters, and I was heartbroken when he lost to Cotto, bro. But I was like, damn, that's crazy because Cotto moved up and shit, and he beat Sergio Martinez in the good in high fashion, you know. And yeah, man, I'll never forget Sergio Martinez. Glad he's coming back, but if he looks bad, dude, I don't want to watch a horrible fighter. You know, the reason why we watch boxing is because we want to see great fights. We want to see great movement, great lateral movement. We want to see all that. You know, if the fighter's not fighting great, and it looks like he's like, you know, too old for this, and it's like, man, just hang it up, man. But yeah, we'll see what happens with him.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't even know that Sergio was coming back and fighting. But with that being said, I'm going to read a couple of the comments. Glad y'all had a great discussion. The homie Ricky is way more than capable of holding it down by himself. In fact, here's a secret. Just hop on to troll him. No, I don't think so. I think you provided some pretty good insight for a casual. Glad to see you around here. Welcome. Yeah, man, on that note, thank you guys for joining us. Hopefully the live was entertaining and fun, just to chop it up and have a good time. Drew, as always, a pleasure. Tis the roar. Thank you for hopping on, bro. Hey, Speed, you got to hop on, man. You knew what time we were hopping on live. You know this, bro. You're one text away. I let you know 30 minutes, and now we're into it, and you still didn't show up for the last hour and 15 minutes. So shame on you. Yeah, man, on that note, I want to end it, Roar, and say that I do not like this team, bro. Oh my God. Let me just read what I drafted. I have Patrick Mahomes, Bijan Robinson, Kenneth Walker, Jalen Waddle, Christian Watson, Travis Kelce, Dallas Cowboys as my defense, and then Tyler Baz as my kicker. My bench, yeah, I have the Buffalo Bills kicker. The bench, I have Dotson, Herbert from the Bears running back. I got Addison. I think he's a rookie from Minnesota.
Yeah, he's good. No, he's going to be good, dude. He's gonna.
I hope so.
Remember Thielen?
Yeah,
course you
feeling.
remember
Yeah, I'm
Thielen.
feeling. Hell yeah.
He's out, so he's gonna take all the fucking passes. I highly doubt that they're gonna give it to KJ Osborne. You know,
Yeah, I
they
agree.
drafted a high.
So
They
either
drafted
it'll
a
be
high.
fucking that tight end, and then
No. Well, yeah, the tight end, but at the same time, they drafted this guy high for a reason. They need. It's gonna be a passing fucking offense. Alexander Madison ain't shit. I'm sorry to say it, but he ain't shit, man. It's gonna be a passing offense, man.
yeah, I got Cortland Sutton. I got Pittsburgh Steelers defense, and then Tyler
Okay.
Algier, just in case Bijan Robinson, is a fluke or gets hurt.
Yeah,
I got Algier
yeah.
just for safety, bro. The team sucks that I drafted.
No, it's. I think it's solid as shit. You have the.
It's solid,
number-
but
No,
I don't have
it's
a
solid.
three-headed
You
monster
have
in the receiving
no,
core, and I don't even have a
listen.
three-headed monster in the running game. But I
Oh,
do
it is what
have
it
both
is.
for me the Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, wide
You
receiver
have
to QB.
you have
1
the
point, I get
best.
4 points off of it. But man, I don't know, bro.
What you got to worry about is bye weeks. No, looking for
Yeah.
bye weeks now. But you have a solid ass primary team. Whoever plays you is gonna be like, fuck, he has Patrick Mahomes. Fuck, he has a Dallas Cowboy defense. Fuck, he has a decent running backs and oh shit. The receivers, I personally don't care about Christian Watson. It is what it is. I think Jahan Dotson is gonna be there. Honestly, Scary Terry's gonna miss 1, 2, 3 weeks for sure. One, so we'll see.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you think about my squad, Rick?
Let's see
Shit,
your
I'll
squad, man.
I'll just text you guys on that aspect, bro. I'm gonna end the live.
All right.
Have a good night, guys. Stay safe. Hopefully, you guys had a beautiful and enjoyable Labor Day weekend. I had to work 2 out of the 3 days, but aside from that, man, it was still really good and enjoyable. I was able to go to a little theme park and see the flowers with my nephews and niece and my girl. It was really fun. And then she got me. Man, I don't even want to spill what she got me, bro, but she spoils me a little too much, bro. So I got to reciprocate the feeling come, the holidays. But on that note, man, stay safe. And I hope to see you guys tonight. And
Tonight.
yeah, man. I mean, sorry, not tonight. See you guys tomorrow night. And then we'll just talk some boxing. If there's a good topic, let me know. Until then, take care.
Peace.
All right, deuces.